hello, there we go. Greetings and welcome. I am Joffrey, and today I will be joined in a second by the Darkest Light, but for now it is just going to be me at the start of this one. So, today and later we, are going to be discussing societal values. Now, this stream is happening now, so suddenly after the last one, relatively speaking. Uh, yes, thanks purely due to certain individuals commenting on the last stream, such things as, oh, the next time Joffrey streams, the game will have a release date, or, yes, yes, oh, I see, 10 minutes only stream today, oh, I see. You too, Gamalt, everyone's feeling rather clever today, aren't they? Well, today now mind you, I do have a headache going on, and it is not going away even when I take something for it, which is annoying, but I do have a lot of things that I want to get through, so I think it will last a bit more than 10 minutes, unless my headache gets significantly worse within the next 10 minutes, which I kind of doubt. So, to get started, we're going to be discussing... The voice is different? The voice is different. It should just be me through the same microphone. It shouldn't be different. Ah. Do I value my society? Yeah, no, not at all. I honestly, yes, my society, no, I would put all of my societal values at zero. No, wait, I forgot. Because as they're talking about here, that's not how societal values work. It's not a case of you having no value or maximum value. It's a case of you having, go away, Java. It's a case of you being on one side of the spectrum to the other, ain't it? Yes, societal values range from negative 100 to positive 100, because everything in this game is on a scale of either 0 to 100 or negative 100 to positive 100. Yes. Where minus 100 value is completely to the left and positive 100 is 100% to the right. They change slowly over time, primarily influenced by the estate privileges, government reforms, or laws that the country has. However, if you feel that you can't wait for society to change, you can always have a member of your cabinet focusing on attempting to nudge societal values in one direction or another in your country. Well, that's interesting. I didn't expect that would be something you could do. I wonder what sort of tasks those would be then. If there are a specific task that your ministers, what are they called again? Your cabinet, yes, cabinet members, can have them specifically doing something to change it, or whether it has some other effect. Like, isn't there one for professional army that we've heard about? Professional armies or something else? I don't know. Hmm. I know, well, one that they keep mentioning is inward and outward. So, what sort of thing would you have a minister doing that would make you start to lean more outward or inward? Hmm. But effective skill of changing societal values. So that is a cabinet action. 50 skill from peer. Ceremonious. Hmm. Well, I guess that's the king. So your king affects that. Your king's skill affects it, and then also this Alphonse Roger de Loria. I assume this is then the person you are having do the task. Hmm, curious. And crown power does increase. Lots of little things affect it. Unsupported, accepted cultures and tolerated cultures. Unsupported. So you have too many because you're over your cultural limit. I think they have it. There's a cultural tolerance limit of some sort. Huh. You're still waiting for the zoom out reveal? When they reveal this is only one planet in Stellaris too. Oh boy, here we go, Evie. Here we go. Yes, of course. Uh, I see you've chosen the Stellaris 2 instead of the March of the Eagles 2 stance today. Yes. Character with good diplomatic skill is useful for this action. Yeah, because I guess, yeah, because the diplomatic skill of the ruler and the diplomatic skill of the minister themselves, yeah, are affecting this. There are 13 common societal values that all countries have from the start. All of them have from the start. So not all of them exist at game start? And currently one unique one for countries in and around China, which will be talked about in a later Tinto talk. I guess that one's probably going to be dealing with the whole Tinto flavor thing that I heard they're going to be doing eventually. This is clearly Imperator too. I mean, it's got pops. It's got pops, so obviously it's Imperator too, right? Imperator's a game I actually am curious about playing more. I've barely ever scratched the surface of how Imperator works, but I've watched people play it before, and I kind of got that itch to try it myself properly. So I've only loaded it up and kind of stared at the map before. Hmm. We have another one added in the Age of Absolutism as well. Okay, so that's probably, yeah, absolute or not. Absolute. Hmm. Yeah, that's probably just the way they represent absolutism or not as well. Imperator is good, use Invictus. Yes, I have heard there is a fellow there is a fellow in the channel's Discord server, Drac, who is a very big Invictus stan. So we know, yes, 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 of course. Being EU5 would be ridiculous. Hmm. Centralization versus decentralized. Centralized country may be more efficient, while the decentralized one is more resilient. Well, what does that mean? Huh? Okay, so crown power is extra 50% crown power when you're centralized to the max. That is a lot. That is a huge bonus. But then you also have war exhaustion. Oh, maximum war exhaustion. That's a new modifier. The amount that you can become war exhausted is higher if you're more centralized. Huh. And I suppose it's going to be a negative. The amount that you can become war exhausted will be reduced if you're decentralized. You can build roads faster, and you're more efficient at counter-espionage as well if you're centralized. Very interesting bonuses. I can imagine that the road construction time could be quite handy, but I don't know if that would be significant enough to really be something where you would say, yeah, this is something I want. Same with the counter espionage. And then there's the penalty of the war exhaustion. The only real bonus that that being centralized seems to be offering is the crown power, which is a significant bonus. But yes, what does decentralized give you? The maximum war exhaustion down by the same amount that being centralized increases it by. Then distance cost to capital goes down. Oh, that's probably very, very good for being wide. Like that is important for uh control. That quite simply reduces by a quarter the cost of yes, trying to get control to reach any given location. The counter espionage, yeah, it's not that's a penalty. You're not that great at stopping spies, but I don't know. In EU4, at least, you don't really care that much about people spying on you. Crown power may make centralization the optimal choice always, and this would make sense. I don't know. What do we know about crown power? Because it affects a lot of things. It is a lot of it too. But the maximum war exhaustion could be really bad. And I don't see that the counter espionage and road building is that significant. Meanwhile, the rebels growing slower. Distance to capital, man. Distance to capital minus by a quarter, Gemalt. That for people, I think you're a blobber, right? I believe you're one of the folks that really likes to blob, right, Gemalt? That would be so incredibly valuable for someone who's trying to just blob all over, right? Centralization power is always the goal in Mayo and taxes, maybe in EU5. So that's the thing, Gamal, because there's a in Mayo and taxes, it's a very narrow concept of what makes you stronger, because you just having more centralization is the same as having control. In EU5, you've got that broader idea of control being the thing you want. Now, how you achieve that control is not always the same. See, what this looks like to me, looking at this, I honestly think the funny thing about this is that centralization probably is something that would go very well with having lots of vassals. That's the really weird thing about this. Because decentralized, on the other hand, with the fact that it has distance cost to capital, because again, I keep harping on this. What this means, this modifier, is something that we know is specifically related to the calculations of how much control you lose every county over land or sea that is between your capital and this given place. So decentralization actually means that it is 25% easier for you to get control anywhere at max. Meanwhile, centralization means you don't have, it's not as easy for you to get stuff high control, but the stuff you do have high control in, you'll have more crown power to make use of in that area. However, and you'll build roads faster. However, you get the war exhaustion, so that land will be more vulnerable. Just found a channel due to the algorithms. Is it true that in Argentina they hate bald people? Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. That's that is a what an interesting comment you have said, Dosh, in there. Doc Thomas. Yes. Do they hate bald people in Argentina? Why would you ask me that? Yes. Why Argentina specifically? You wouldn't happen to be someone I know, would you? You wouldn't have to be Eden, perhaps? Nah. No, you couldn't be. Small nations will be centralized, whereas nations like Russia will be decentralized. Hmm. And multicultural empire is better to be decentralized in this system, but a unicultural empire like France or Scandinavia. So, yeah, the I don't think that the culture has anything to do with it in this context. And now we're discussing this very specific point for a long time, but that's what people come for the Joff man for, I suppose. Um, I I don't think that the culture has anything to do with it, because I don't think that culture, as far as we know, has any impact on how easy it is to control an area, right? I don't think so. But Decentralization sounds like it's good for if you want to control a very large amount of land, because it means that you'll be able to control that more effectively. But if you're playing, as you said, as you're saying, Gemalt, someone like France, where you theoretically at least, your whole game plan is focused on reeling in these vassals you've got. So then and then just building up France. Yeah, centralization would probably be very much the way to go for that. It's more land than culture, you think. Yes. Someone, I do not think that as Russia, for example, or the Golden Horde, it would be very effective for you to go with a centralized plan. Unless you were having a ton of vassals. But at the same time, I don't think that that would be useful either. I think it'd probably be more efficient to just always go decentralized. But we should probably move along. I think that the point of this, and then why we're not quite able to agree on what the most effective way to be playing with these modifiers is a good sign, because it means that since we are having to sit here and discuss the specific context that would cause these different things to be more useful, given how large the land you're ruling or the cultural makeup of it, that is a good sign. Means that there's a lot of questions to be asked, and people will disagree, and some people will uh, through trial and error, try to start to figure out what may or may not be the more effective. Maybe it really is just a personal preference thing at the end of the day. These societal values create too many questions for what nations would be better. I I do imagine that is something that I understanding from seeing them is that some nations, I think we've seen that some people have like game start things that cause them to slowly tick in one direction or another, for some societal values. So there is that as well to keep in mind, that I think some nations will just naturally lean in one direction, or another. But I think that that is, a very, yeah, I think that that's very enjoyable. The fact that there's going to be so many of these societal values that you want to tweak, uh, to make the your preferred build. Yeah. Almost as if you have. It kind of feels to me like you have. There's so many ways. What I'm trying to say is there's so many ways that they deconstructed and reconstructed the whole national ideas thing from EU4. You know, they have these centralization, decentralization, quality versus quantity, and they've got these as concepts, but then they also have those things where every time the world enters a new age, you get to pick whether you're gonna, for this age, be military, diplomacy, or administratively focused, and then it'll give you new options as a result of that. So you've got these different areas where they've just sprinkled in little bits of those old elements. You think it's good game design to not have an option be objectively superior? Well, you've come to the right place if you want to hear that opinion, validated over and over again. Welcome to the echo chamber indeed, because in the Joffman community, the people with moderation powers, all are people that believe that more options, uh, and not feeling like there is the correct way to play the game or not correct way to have fun. Those are the people that have the power. Yes. pat pat on the head. Yes. All right. Moving along. Finally, it would be nice to eventually get to looking at like the Saturday buildings and stuff. You know. All right, take a sip. Right, traditionalist versus innovative. Oh, that's the one. The other day I was talking about how I wondered what the alternative to innovative would be because we learned that innovative was one, and I was like, what the heck? Because if you make art, you become more innovative. I was like, what the heck is the opposite of innovative? Like sitting on your hands? Hmm? I wonder. Okay, traditional society prioritizes stability and tradition over all other values, while innovative countries want more literacy and faster adoption of any new institution. I love this. Hmm. Stability and tradition. What does the tradition part of that mean? I don't know. I don't know what the tradition part of that equation means, but the stability is pretty obvious. Stable but slow to adapt versus adaptable and unstable. I don't. That's probably true. I was gonna say, Eric. I was gonna say, well, no, it's not unstable, but based on what we just saw with this, being centralized means that you are centralized but fragile. You have a strong core that is easy to crack. You break before you bend. Now, and because of that, that implies that all of these have bonuses with disadvantages that go with them, which certainly implies that a traditionalist country that says, yeah, is stable and slow to adapt, uh, the innovative country probably has a penalties to stability equilibrium, which is rough. That does not sound fun if being innovative gives you a penalty to your stability equilibrium. Ooh. Every Italian commune is going innovative. Yeah, you're going to be playing it like, I swear, you're going to be at like 30% stability, like the whole game. So, yeah, you're going that Genoa grind set. It's like, but I gotta change the laws, guys. Guys, I gotta change the laws. I can't. I know I've only got 40% stability, but I need to change the laws to make sure that the peasants of this culture don't migrate or some shit. All right. And innovate. Yeah. Maximum literacy, bigger cultural influence growth, and cheaper institution growth, but stability will be much slower to grow. Bigger cultural influence, too. Oh, yeah, that's right. Damn, combining the fact that you already get more cultural influence from making the art, being innovative will give you even more. Whoo! Innovative is going to be really important if you're wanting to be someone who does cultural assimilation a lot. And hey, there's two things to know about Joffman's favorite way to play Paradox games. Oh, oh, Wi-Fi dropped for a second there. I think really low. Yeah, there's two things to know about the way that Joffman loves Paradox games. Joffman loves vassals, and he loves assimilation. I am a big diplomacy enjoyer. I'm gonna be playing. Hmm? My OBS is complaining, but that shouldn't be right. Weird. What the heck? So I'm the Borg? I don't know the Borg. Damn. Why am I so uncultured? Who are the Borg? Borg. No, don't give me. Oh, these people. Yeah. Yes, I'm the Borg. Yes, I need to slowly conquer the map by vassalizing and then slowly assimilating everyone into me. Everyone must join the robots. Yes, cyborgs. Indeed, that is the way that I be. So yes. The Joff man is going to be setting up tons of vassals and then integrating the vassals once he can afford to start focusing on assimilating them. And then I'll be making tons of art. Yes, yes. I already have like a pretty good idea of exactly how I'm going to be playing the game my first playthrough, where I'm going to be I'm going to be probably going centralized, but so I'll be going centralized and then setting up vassals to control the distant parts of my land so that and then also going very innovative so I can culturally assimilate my core lands very effectively. And then once I've got a firm grasp of whatever territory I've newly expanded into, I'll then annex my newest subject and then start working on assimilating and building up their roads and development for more control. Yes. Any Balkan nation is better suited to traditionalist stability for the hundreds of different non-accepted cultures? That I don't know because traditionalist does not sound like that means you're very good at. I don't think they'd be very good at converting cultures, and it sounds like you basically if you're going traditionalist. Okay, higher state satisfaction, stability grows faster, and bigger cultural tradition growth. So, cultural tradition, Gemalt, that is the defense. That is your defense about being against being converted. If you are expanding, like neither of these are increasing your ability to accept more cultures. That's what outward focus does, I think. There's like internal versus outward. Um, so innovative lets you convert stuff faster because your culture will have more offensive power. You can actually want to be traditionalist if your ruling culture is a massive part of your realm. State satisfaction, stability grows faster, bigger cultural tradition. Maybe. I think, yeah, if your own culture is already really big, who'd be an example of that? That's like Castile. Like, Castile is someone who already their culture is the vast majority of their land. Like, their culture is already the majority in, like, most of Iberia. So they could definitely afford to be traditionalist in that way. Not for converting, but more stability is making cultures happier. Does stability make cultures happier though? I don't think that does. So making cultures happier. Um, oh yeah, yeah, that's right, Eric. I completely forgot England. I was trying to think, like, what is an example of a country that just has like one monolithic culture? And the first one, the best example, the best single example of this is England. Uh, to a lesser extent, you also have the Byzantines because there's a shit ton of Greeks, and they're just everywhere. There's Greeks all over the fucking place. So the Byzantines would be good for that too, and also pretty in character because of their just complete incapability of innovating, absolutely stomping them in history. But Gemalt, the way that you accept cultures, I know that in Imperator you do this like integration thing where you go through the process of integrating them, but in EU5 we know it's going to be a similar system, like in because in EU4 you've got your accepted culture slots. In EU5 you've got like cultural capacity, and the culture capacity you spend on either making cultures tolerated or accepted, like integrated rather, I suppose. Where either you integrate them properly and they're treated the same as your primary culture, or you tolerate them, which means that the penalties are less severe, but you'll still assimilate them over time, and it's cheaper to tolerate or integrate cultures that are more similar to you. So the in the Balkans, it would probably be pretty easy for the South Slavs to, in general, just tolerate each other a lot. But it would be a lot harder once you get to the rest other cultures that wouldn't share heritage traits with them. Have the devs talked about how stability works? I I don't think they've said specifically what stability does, but we've heard just references to it, and if that makes sense, where they'll say they'll be talking about a given mechanic, and then they'll say, "Oh, this affects stability," or "Stability affects this." They've never sat down and been like, "All right, so this is stability, and this is how it works." But one thing we know is that stability is another, because basically everything is on a scale of either 0 to 100 or negative 100 to positive 100. So it's either everything's either on a out of 200 or an out of 100 scale. Uh, and Goat Bush is playing Warhammer 3. Neat. He's been playing
The
that
hero
all day.
has arrived.
Hello, Dark. Yes. We are ranting about, and by we, I mean me, I'm ranting to them about how stability works. And yeah, uh, now I'm losing my train of thought. And yeah, how stability works in these diaries. Yeah, because we don't know how stability works specifically because they've never sat down and been like, hello, folks, this is what stability is, this is how it works, but we've heard references to it where they'll say that.
All we know is that it's minus 100 to 100.
Okay.
Or is it 0 to 100?
I
don't
said
know if
the
it's negative.
exact thing. I said exactly that, where I was like, it's one of those modifiers because everything is either on a out of 100 or an out of a 200 scale, where it's either 0 to 100 or negative 100 to positive 100, which isn't confusing at all. But it's neat. I kind of like it. But one thing we know is that having it, like changing laws and stuff, affects it. But the whole reason we're talking about that is because we now can see that the traditionalist, if you're a traditionalist instead of an innovative country, your stability goes up. But which is funny because that means that if you're innovative, you have less stability.
Those darn liberals ruining our country.
Yeah, they're changing their laws all the gosh darn time. Because changing laws lowers it. We know that much. Which it also does an imperator, so that isn't that surprising. Anyway, moving along. But yeah, innovative really seems like I can't. I can see that tradition would be handy in the early game, but really doesn't seem like it's something that would last because you get higher estate satisfaction and stability sounds pretty darn nice, but then it's like, yeah, institutions are expensive, and like having a bigger cultural tradition, that's just your defense against being converted. But innovative makes you like you convert people's culture faster. Also, doing the things that give you more innovation, mainly making art, give you even more cultural influence. The cheaper institutions, and then maximum literacy. Whoo! Later game, that sounds like that's fantastic. But yeah, yeah, it probably functions very similar to Imperator's stability. Spiritualist versus humanist. That sounds like it's probably pretty cut and dry. This is the tolerance versus religious ideas split. Depending on your stability level, you have scaling modifiers for pop happiness in Imperator, or pop growth, monthly legitimacy, character loyalty, trade and research. Oh no, this is about this game. Okay. Pop growth is affected by stability, really? And pop happiness is affected by it too?
That could be big.
That's big if true. Big if true. Pop happiness and growth. Wait, character loyalty. We don't, Gamal's character loyalty isn't a thing. So you are talking about Imperator. Yeah, because that's not even a thing in this game. Characters can't be disloyal. You will not have someone betray you. Um
That we know of.
no, they've said that characters don't have loyalty. They they,
It's
they,
gaslighting.
they said that the first time they started talking about characters. Like there
I
was
don't believe them.
it's true. It's true.
I think that's something someone disloyal would say.
Dark, we have seen character windows so many times. They do not have a loyalty tab. They do not have a loyalty tab. It's not true.
We'll see about that. Glug glug water.
Spiritualist, it's good. Is good. I got a headache, and I think it's because I didn't drink enough water, and I've been fucking up my sleep schedule because, well, of course, due to my weird work. Spiritualist country will convert pops faster, increase the amount of clergy in towns and cities. Oh, it increases the amount of clergy? It increases the tolerance of the true faith while reducing the speed of assimilation. Huh. Yeah, as you're saying, Eric. Yeah. Faster conversion versus faster assimilation. Huh. Humanist countries assimilate pops faster, increase tolerance of heathens and heretics, but reduce the speed of conversions. What is the... It doesn't say anything about decreasing, but I assume being more humanist probably decreases the amount of clergy pops you have. What is the benefit or cost of that? Why do we want clergy pops? Do
They
they...
provide stability to the country.
Yeah! How is that gonna work? Just having clergy. The number
I
of...
have no idea.
It's like the percentage of your pops? Maybe? Percentage of your pops that are clergy? Hmm. Clergy are educated. Yeah, they also provide literacy. That's true. And stab. Interesting. That's, yeah. I mean, y'all know I'm gonna be going with humanist because I gotta go that heretic run. Gotta be a humanist society as the Waldensians and convert everyone's culture, but tolerate the faiths. Aristocracy versus plutocracy. Okay. An aristocratic country is about having the leadership from those with noble blood, while plutocratics take their leadership from the richest and most powerful. Aristocratic countries will increase the amount of diplomats you get and the amount of noble pops in cities. Increase the power of the nobility and the expected cost of the court. While plutocratic countries increase the amount of burghers in cities, reduce the costs of the court, and increase trade efficiently but dramatically increase the power of the burghers. Ooh, that's very interesting. Oh, plutocracy would make you so much better at trade, but having more nobles? Having more nobles would make you a lot stronger militarily early game. Because early game, before you get professional armies, you need nobles for larger and stronger armies. Because those are the most powerful fighters you have. So that's a that the extra diplomats aren't bad either. Hmm. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, either the power of the nobility or the burghers, but at the same time, I'm a diplomacy guy, which, I mean, as everyone knows, the burghers are the diplomacy guys, right? That's just how that works. Naval tech is the bird mana, right? So obviously in EU5, you going for a diplomacy build means you just need to have the burghers like you, right? Noble pops with their better levies or burghers with their money and trade. Exactly. Yes. You like more burgers in your cities? They taste good? It's hard to disagree with that, Armos. Yes. They do taste good, and having lots of them is nice. They're more educated as well, so they can probably actually read most of the time. Or sometimes, at least. More nobles equals more powerful nobility estate, too. But what does that mean? What does them being powerful do, though? We don't know enough about that. Because uh, it's probably bad to have any one estate be too powerful. Not necessarily. Nobles, in theory, could really help with vassal management. How? What nobles could really help with vassal management? Just having
For
nobles in your...
diplomats, I guess.
Yeah, okay, when they talk about more diplomats, that's not diplomat capacity, because there's a difference between having more
Yeah, but
diplomats.
you could improve with more of your vassals at once.
Yeah. Yeah, because they still have the concept of diplomats, but then also diplomacy capacity. They're just different things. Huh. Think of a noble ruling class, strong duchies, vassal integration. Yeah, but I don't know how that would affect your vassals. I actually okay. Well, when you put it like that, I guess okay, you're referring to specifically the estate because I was thinking like I thought you meant like having more noble pops would somehow help your vassals, but no, I do think you're probably right, Endrit, that having stronger and more privileged, happy as well nobles would be very useful for having vassals. So yeah, I mean that could be very good for my just the Joffster build, the Joff man and his
And the inevitable Blackfoot Empire.
in his Blackfoot Empire. Yes, his Blackfoot Empire with all the vassals. I will vassalize all of the people. The infamous day one Blackfoot vassalization of the Salish and the Cree. Yes. I actually dark. I had my when my brother was in town, his girlfriend was around. I was talking to her about all the memeing I do about Blackfoot because she's Métis. Oh, the Wi-Fi cut out on the stream.
Yeah, it's back.
Okay, but yeah, I was talking. I was telling her about how much memeing I do on the Blackfoot, and she she actually was happy when I talked about how I shit talk the Cree. She was happy to know I do that. It's true. It really is true.
Native rivalries, SM8.
It's a severe thing, man. It is a real
Because
thing.
they will be unplayable. Too true.
More like imaginary Blackfoot Empire because it'll be unplayable. All right, Armos, that's it. That's it. Dark. Subject this man to horrors beyond his comprehension.
Sorry, Armos, you're getting banned. Get up.
Yay! I won't have anyone criticizing my hopes and dreams of playable Blackfoot Day One. No! But do we know exactly what the malice for the nation with a happy but powerful noble? We don't know much about them. No, I think that that's probably a good candidate for one of the different Tinto talks that we'll get at some point. Surely at some point we'll get one where they sit down and they're just like, all right, these are the estates and this is how they work. Because they talk they've mentioned them before, but they've never really gone into detail. They just one time showed us, oh, there are estates. And then they got feedback and everyone was upset that there wasn't dimmies, or there were no dimmy and there were no tribal pops or tribal estate. And then when people were mad about that, they're like, okay, and then they added some. 90% of your pops vanish as soon as the Europeans show up. No. Oh no. The feedback talk next week has me thinking that we don't have many Tinto talks left. Well, obviously that means that the game is just like I mean the EU5 is going to release in January, obviously.
Cope.
Early.
They would announce this months in advance. They're not, and they haven't announced it yet. So
they they basically I mean I've always been saying this, but people are welcome to tell me why I'm wrong, but based on my experience with Paradox, they almost always seem to announce something half a year before it comes out.
do they have any events coming up?
I wouldn't know.
When is PDX Con?
Is that usually at the beginning of the summer? Oh, PDX
Let me check.
Con.
Not officially announced, but it is typically held in the latter half of the year.
Oh, Oh, there hasn't been one yet this year?
I checked for 25.
Was there
I
one
checked for
this year?
24. Let me check.
I don't remember.
Um,
I can't think of there being one this year.
Let me check.
But it would be pretty late.
Know when it was.
You think it needs another entire year before announcement? Really? Another full year? That is a long time. You think it needs that much time in the oven yet? An entire year and a half? Remember,
I have no idea when it was.
this game's been being worked on for like several years now. More time to argue with the Balkans thread. hmm. Stability affects the satisfaction of estates and other minor things. Yeah. Okay. Well, at any rate, yeah, I'm pretty sure that Paradox typically with their release strategy will announce something and then they have their publicity. They have their typical publicity and hype building cycle that lasts half a year before the project actually comes out. Pretty sure that's how it worked with CK3, Imperator, Vicky, roughly speaking. They probably want to wait to spend a lot longer than the past games, considering that they have gotten backlash from lacking content in the releases like Vic 3. Yeah,
We haven't seen
but
anything about like custom content or unique country specific content really.
and that's what's supposedly happening once the Tinto talks are done. We get Tinto flavor after the Tinto maps, I think, specifically. Once the Tinto maps are done, which they're gonna be done in like T minus 5 seconds.
I
Uh,
think next week I think is just the whole continent.
I would not be surprised in the least.
And I see maybe 3 more. Maybe 4.
But I've got no idea how many more Tinto talks are left. Because it's really hard to know how many mechanics more they've got to talk about. Or in how much detail they want to discuss them. We know a ton about the game now. It's insane how much we know about this unannounced project. It would be crazy. It would be crazy if they've been doing all of this feedback gathering stuff and then they just don't they just stop. And it's just like in like 2 months from now they just stop talking about it. It'll be like they went a full year of talking about this project and then they're just done and they're like, well, all right, thanks guys. The game's still not announced, but we're done with these now. It used to release with a decent amount of flavor. The skeletal flamework model of release isn't acceptable. Yes, very true. And I believe that they know that, which is why they're gonna they keep explaining to people when they ask how various countries have a lot of flavor. They explaining that there's many countries with the same amount of content on release that England has now in EU4, which is um, honestly shocking. And part of why, like the fact that that is the case, is part of why I'm a little reluctant to believe that the game is as far away from release as some of you folks believe to be the case, because we are watching in real time as they are finishing microing out the individual pop numbers. Like they are on a week to week basis over the past while been like, all right, we finished the population minorities here, and then we gather feedback on if we've done a good job with the population distribution and the territories and stuff here, and then we see them add the stuff and then retroactively give us the feedback on it. It's like they are in like 2 months, they're gonna be done. They will be done the map. There will just not be anything left for them to do on the mapping side of things after like a couple months from now. Is what I'm saying. So it's like after that too, and the fact that they're going to be talking about all their extra content. We're rambling a lot about this, but yeah. Point is they've got a ton of flavor stuff supposedly already implemented. So
We will see about that.
yeah, I think though that even if there's not to be that much flavor, there might be a lot more ways to play the game. Okay, that's another thing to briefly to serfdom and free subjects. Oh, serfdom and free subjects. Pointing the right way now. CK3 versus Vicky. CK3, even on launch, where it did not have the different like cultural bonuses, where it's like, oh, this culture has this tradition, and like you change it, reform it, all that, and like languages didn't have all that stuff. It still had religions, and it had all the different ways that you can reform your religion and the different mechanics and bonuses and penalties that came from that. So that wasn't insane, but the RP standpoint of different ways to play the game based on where you were on the map, purely because of the way that religions worked, was immense. And that was way more than enough to keep that was so much enough to keep people interested for the first half year until they added the deeper cultural stuff. So mind you, then we got Victoria, and Victoria released with the same way as Imperator did, where literally every country is exactly the same, and there's just no sense of playing the game where you can play the game as Imperator, and it's like literally the only differences between anyone on the map is like, well, if you play as the English, you like tea. Haha, isn't this funny, guys? We're the English, so we like tea.
Hey. If you played as Great Britain, you got to play big country, but if you played not Great Britain, you didn't play big country. That's the difference.
If you play the Indian Territory, you're not big country. But if you play America, you are big country.
If you play Britain, you build 20 construction sectors to start. If you play Switzerland, you start by building 5 construction sectors. They're the exact same countries, except just different numbers.
Well, when you put it like that, isn't everything just different numbers?
Yes, but it's also the exact same like build order.
Yeah, yeah. They changed a lot of that stuff, like that the sort of thing with Imperator in the end, at least. They actually added like heritages and the different military doctrines and shit. Like, jeez. If you played as
They stopped that.
it's such a shame that such a shame they stopped Imperator. I mean, they stopped Imperator because Johann stopped working on Imperator because he was working on EU5. Because it's been in development since they stopped working on Imperator. So he's been doing this for a long time now. You like your spreadsheet simulator with color map to have some variety? Thank you, Endrit. This is what we all want to hear. All of us thirsty map gamers just want our spreadsheets to have some variety. We want the English spreadsheet to be colored different as well as tasting different. Thank you. Now moving along. Womp womp womp. Serfdom versus free subjects. Why did I just say womp womp womp? A country with... Oh, what is this image? Who is this guy? What is he doing? What's he got this stick
Holding
for?
the stick.
What is
Beat them peasants.
What-
He's gonna
what?
beat them.
Where's he gonna
They better
beat?
get to work.
Oh God, you're gonna beat them. Damn. This looks like I feel like I'm looking at an image of this is some Midwestern U.S. compound. There's this dude wearing his black cloak. He's gonna beat all his wives if they don't harvest the grain fast enough. God damn. You were really disappointed with the lack of spreadsheets in Vicky 3. I know, right? Oh my god. Serfdom versus free subjects. So this is no, you're supposed to show us 100% of the way. God damn it. So 10% towards serfdom. Maximum tax for peasants. So the amount of money you can squeeze out of the peasants. So having more serfdom means that the peasants have less money. Excellent. Peasant food. The peasants eat more. What? Why do the peasants eat more if you
Being
have
worked
more
to the
serfdom?
bone.
What? Yeah, just give them some flatbread. I don't know. No, I think
Oh,
with free subjects they'd eat more. Oh, yeomanry. Yeomanry. Magna Carta. This is England? Oh, court
Magna
language.
Carta and yeomanry will make England slowly go towards free subjects.
Oh, free subject. Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was really confused why the Magna Carta and yeomanry were giving them serfdom. But the court language brings them towards serfdom, interestingly. So the fact that they speak Norman is a serfdom enforcing thing. Huh. What the heck is the deal with the language affects that? You were interested in making a Disco Elysium mod for this when it comes out, but you learned that the Scandinavia that world is 3 times the size of Russia and all the regions are larger. What the heck? I don't know like anything about Disco Elysium because I haven't played it yet. So I don't want to know too much about it, but I've heard that the world is a little different. By a little, I mean a lot. Oh gosh. Can't climb the social ladder if you can't speak the language, I guess. But how does that specifically? I don't know. It sounds. I guess it could be the fact that their court language is different from their primary culture's language. That would make sense. Yeah, the fact that it's different. But I don't know. It might just be that some languages have modifiers like that attached to them. Don't apologize. Listen. I don't like spoiling, but
Beg.
it's not like you told me.
Beg for forgiveness. Beg.
It's not like you told me the end game. It's not like you told me like the ending of the game or some major twist. I highly doubt it's a major twist that Scandinavia is really fucking big.
Joffrey, there are some characters, and they do some things.
No. No.
You're welcome.
The only thing I did, I played that game for like 1 hour, so I made my character. I found I was stupid and I started calling myself Augustus Gusto or some shit. Gustus Gloop, yep. Then I found out there's someone dead out back, and then I like sprinted at somebody for no reason, and then got paid money because they thought I was mentally damaged. Um, yeah, they didn't want me to sue them because I got hurt in their building. So yeah, it's a good game. I'll have to play it. I'll add it to the list. It's already in the list. Right up there with Warhammer 40k Mechanicus and a lot of other things. So you can see serfdom-focused countries increase the possible tax for peasants, the raw materials they produce, and the supply limit in your country, while also making yes, they increase the amount the amount that the peasants eat for some reason. So weird. Country with free subjects, on the other hand, will increase the monthly prosperity. Ooh, that's scrumptious. It makes pops promote faster. Ooh, and reduces food consumption of the peasants. Ooh, but reduces the amount of tax you can collect from them. Aww. But I like taxing the poor. Tax the poor. Belligerent and conciliatory. Yeah. Attack versus wholesome chungus, I guess, yeah. Serfs get their food for free. It's a free subject, they're paid. I I I don't think serfs are given food. Pretty sure they need to get their own food. But that is a decent explanation. When Paradox makes a game inspired by Imperator and Vic. Well, what about it, Leno? But I mean, in Imperator, I know that there's belligerent and conciliatory as diplomatic stances, so. A belligerent country is one that does not worry about the opinion of others. A conciliatory country appeases others, either due to being weaker, or it just believes that it's easier to catch the flies with honey. Well, that's a rather disturbing way to put something that I just described as the wholesome chungus route, but okay. Don't fuck me, I guess. Just reading about the Blackfoot. Oh no, no, don't. No, he's reading the lore. There is one of the current chiefs, one of the current leaders of the because the Blackfoot they have the largest reserve in Canada. And it's like right next to where I live. It's right there. It's the largest reserve in Canada, other than Nunavut, which means it's probably one of the biggest ones in North America, if not the biggest. And one of their chiefs right now has one of them just has a name. I think his name is just Coyote. But then right next to him on the list of chiefs right now is a guy whose name is 2 stars shining, which is just like, oh, dude, you gotta hate to be Coyote when the dude right next to you on the list is 2 stars shining, because that is the most badass name. Oh, don't tell them you're reading the sacred texts if that's true, because they don't like that. They do not like that if you read their text. Yeah, Johan said it's inspired by Imperator. I think Leno knows that it is. I think Leno knows that it is inspired by Imperator, yeah. You're reading the Wikipedia. Excellent. Alright, so belligerent countries can make casus belli faster, get cheaper war score costs, and faster supply network construction, but the diplomatic reputation... the diplomatic reputation will suffer significantly. And diplo reputation... The diplo rep is very important if you have vassals, and also if you're just doing diplomacy in general. If you're in the HRE, you gotta lean heavy and conciliatory if you want people to like you. But conciliatory increases the efficacy. Oh my gosh, it increases the efficacy of your cabinet. The loyalty of subjects improves the diplomatic reputation, but casus belli will be more difficult to create. I don't care. I do not care, man. I am. Insert the gif of the dude slapping his credit card. Just yep, slap, slap, slap. Nope. Give. That is easy. That is an easy pick for the Joffman. Joffman is picking conciliatory 90% of the time. Dear God. Better cabinet? I don't care. Listen, cheaper war score costs.
But less blobbing. Less blobbing is harder.
I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. You don't shut the fuck up. Don't care.
I'm gonna give you a fucking beer. I'm gonna snowball you, son of a bitch.
No, you're not. No, you are. You're gonna snowball and you're just gonna fall into fucking pieces.
That's what you
Useless.
think. That's what you think.
You're gonna
But
be,
you
yeah.
see,
How are you gonna integrate all
I'm
that
also
land?
gonna get.
Huh? You're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
integrate
yeah.
all that
Because
land with your,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
get
have my, you-
plus stability with
what are you gonna,
traditionalist too.
yeah, that's great. That's great.
Hmm.
I am going to be conciliatory, and I'm going to have my more effective cabinet. My cabinet ministers are going to be better, which means I can integrate the land I conquer faster. I don't conquer as much, but the land that I conquer is going to be better integrated,
Yeah,
and my
but
vassals will be
you
more
cope.
loyal. So I can just give it to vassals instead.
You
What are you
cope
going
though
to
because
do?
I'll be better at the game and conquer more land.
You'll conquer all the Levant, and it'll just all be disloyal and revolt. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll do
No.
nothing. Yeah.
Because you see, you'll have a skill issue and I'll win.
You'll have a skill issue when you have all that land, you have it integrated, which means it's easier for me to take it off of your hands.
Good luck, Bucko.
Yeah, I don't need it. I make my
Good
own
luck.
luck.
Sure, buddy.
Gosh, I need to play Assassin's Creed Rogue again. Quality versus quantity. An army that focuses on quality. I mean, okay, whatever. This is going to be obvious. So quality. Yeah, you recover morale faster with quality, gain a bonus to military tactics, and have higher initiative, but the maintenance will be higher. And quantity gives you higher frontage, cheaper armies, and less food consumed by armies, but the initiative will be far worse. Okay. Hmm. That's interesting. A very, very interesting trade-off. Higher frontage is a big deal. You just have bigger combat width. That could be crazy. That just means you can bring more troops to bear in battle at a time. But at the same time, so that means that if you win, if you are winning because you bring enough troops, you could just out momentum the shit out of your opponent potentially. But if the battle is prolonged, it's really bad. That's what this sounds like to me. On an individual battle basis, the fact that you got less initiative, that's a very bad thing. Because the thing that, for those who don't know, because not everyone's as obsessed with this as me, so initiative is a modifier that determines how quickly, or how likely rather, a soldier is to decide to fill a gap in your line. So having far worse initiative means that even though you have a wider front line, gaps will open up in your front line, and the people can exploit those, which is very bad. So, like at the start of a given battle, you will have a wider front line, and just more. You will just have more troops fighting at a time, which is really good. But any weakness you have will be exploited to the fullest. Better soldiers versus more soldiers. Better soldiers versus more soldiers in the fight. It, but not even better soldiers. Not even better soldiers. This is specifically military tactics, and you recover morale faster. Military tactics isn't just making you better. I forget what that does exactly. But the higher initiative, it does a lot of things. It does a lot of things that does not directly make your troops better. Is the thing. It's not just strictly making them better fighters, but it's making them do things more effectively. But yeah, there is nothing that, yeah, gives you faster manpower replenishment or something. Yeah, because as yeah, Gamalt, as you're saying, yeah, there's no like giving you extra manpower, because remember, manpower in this game is purely based on like populations. It's purely based on like your people. So if you have something that gives you a higher manpower replenishment rate, you're still losing those pops. It just means you lose your pops faster. I really want to see how that plays out, by the way. I'm very curious how that actually, like, on a gameplay standpoint, when you have your laws of, like, because you've got all sorts of laws related to your armies, and I want to know, because there's, like, a noble levies law, for example, that means you get, like, you recruit just a ton more of your nobles, but less of the other parts of your country. And then there's one that means that you recruit more of the non-integrated cultures. It's like I wonder if there's a way then that you could effectively, if you've got a ton of like people that aren't accepted cultures, that you could actively try to be raising your levies with that law so that they're like most of them aren't even your accepted cultures, so that the people that are taking the damage are the unaccepted pops. But I don't know if that's going to be easy to do. Hmm. High frontage with more cav to use their flanking ability and higher initiative will probably be the meta. Nah, I doubt it. If you because there is going to be anytime you're having a battle, front like holes in your front line are going to open up. Imagine Endrit, because you like I mean yeah, you get your cav to use the flanking, you get your high initiative. Wait. No. And Endrit, yeah, it's the opposite of that. Um, you you either get like if you have high frontage, you do not have lots of initiative. If you have high frontage, because quantity gives you oh yeah. Quantity gives you higher frontage, but you have less initiative. Yeah, far worse initiative. And if you have quality, you get far more initiative. So it is either you have a small army that is very effective at replacing troops and filling gaps in the line, or you have a large army that is not good at bouncing back from casualties because it will not fill the gaps in the line as effectively. So you can have your really wide army with you can have your wide army. Quantity should be more about logistics though. Well, it is actually. Because there's less food consumed by armies. That do not sleep on that. That is big because almost all like we're not going to be dealing with the situation in EU5 where it's just like, oh, you have this just passive modifier of I'm playing as Switzerland, so I give +1 attrition to invading armies. They just take damage. They just take damage for standing in my land just because. I don't know, like the hobbits come out of the trees and stab them, I guess. Um, the attrition you take is specifically for things like standing in the mountains of the fucking winter, sieging a castle like a dumb idiot, or running out of food. So having less food consumed by armies, the other very significant thing that to note about this Endrit is that not only are your armies cheaper, which means you can have more troops, less food consumed by them means you're not going to be recruiting as many once you have professional armies. You're not going to be recruiting as many supply trains to supply the same amount of troops because uh, supply trains are a thing like an imperator. You can add them to your armies to make you able to sustain yourself for longer. So normally you'd need to have a ton of supply trains to manage a larger army. But with quantity, you will be able to supply armies easier because they don't use as much food, which is probably to represent the fact that they are better at managing their supplies. So I honestly, Dark, which of these like does one of these sound like just a better choice to you?
Quality.
Why is that?
Initiative.
So you are of the opinion that
Initiative being better while quantity has it worse.
and
So your dudes will be all in the battle right away, and you could potentially blow them out before their troops all reinforce in time.
doesn't everyone start in the battle? Initiative is something that like comes into play later as gaps open, or is it something that from the
Yeah,
very
and because you
beginning?
have better dudes, you'll blow them out.
But then there's the question of if like initiative only applies like once you need to replace gaps in the line, isn't there the possibility that having a bigger line to begin with is better? because then you'd be the people with the bigger line might be the one blowing out the opponent due to just how much damage they inflict.
See, it depends on if it's like EU4. If it's like EU4, where units at the end of the line can't attack anyone if there's no one directly in front of them, it's dog
It
shit.
isn't. It is not like that. There is no there. It is not like that. The units at the end of the line will be flanking. It means that if you are a
Let me double
quantity,
check
people will
initiative.
instantly be flanking.
Let me double check how initiative works.
Does it? Okay, this is a very important question. Yeah.
Units in the combat line will be participating in combat. They won't just sit there and do jack shit.
Yeah. Yes. And hello, Vector.
But
Yes.
let me double check how initiative works.
I thought initiative was the speed at which armies engage.
So there's
Let me
two
check.
different modifiers. There's two different things that affect that because there is a thing that I don't remember the term for, but if Dark is checking up on initiative, then he'll see the term. But there is a term for units like.
How does a regiment engage?
Okay.
With each tick, they roll a dice and check against their initiative. If they succeed, they become engaged.
But do we know if people start engaged? That's the thing.
Let me
Or,
check.
No,
or
it's taking for the armies to get
No,
into
It starts in
position.
bombard phase. Artillery start
Oh.
fighting, but no.
Ooh. Okay. That's a big deal then because that means that armies do not just start engaged. The battle lines don't start formed, which means that a quality army with lots more initiative is going to be much better at forming up to fight. While the quantity focused army is slowly trickling troops. That's bad. Unless a quantity focused army can make up that initiative elsewhere. Okay. Here's my thought then. Quality's probably better unless you're playing a step faction. If you are a cavalry focused faction, I think that quantity probably sweeps. That probably dominates if you're a step faction because we know that like horse archers have ungodly amounts of ability to move on the campaign map and in battle, as well as initiative.
Game anyway.
Early game, sure.
Yeah. Initiative, how quickly a unit can engage as soon as combat starts.
All right.
Lighter units have a higher initiative.
That's a big deal. That is a big, big deal. Woo! Rest in peace, Russia. Oh, God. That's tough.
Historically accurate Russia experience with the steppe hordes.
Yeah. I think in that case, quality probably is, in general, just the better option. We'll have to see. We will have to see. Day one. We gotta test it. Oh, here's another one that we gotta see whether there's something that's probably just the better option. Offensive versus defensive. A country that which the thing that everyone would be suspecting to be better is offensive, obviously. That's the one where the risk is that it just makes you better, but we'll see. A country that is focused on offensive prefers the attack and using their armies and navies in enemy locations, while the defensive one relies more on their forts to defeat the enemy. So, when offensive is dominant, it scales up to, so at max, you get 10% movement speed, okay, minus 50% fort defense? Oh! Half? It halves your fort defense?
In exchange for 10% siege and assault ability.
That's a
like of these currently, I unironically think that defensive wins out because
combat speed. That's the other modifier. That's the other thing that in combat determines.
Defensive just looks so much better than offensive.
I am
honestly
shocked.
I like that because that's historically how it has worked, fortifications and, armies having to, waste themselves on them.
I think I like this
Siege
as
is
well. Yeah, yeah. And then as you're saying, Eric, yeah, offensive makes you better at beating armies in the field, while defensive makes you better at using force to break your opponents on. Yeah, if the combat speed, because combat speed and initiative are the two things that determine whether or not a unit is going to be able to come up to the front and actually join battle. And then fortification defense maintenance down by 20%. 20% cheaper forts? 50% more effective forts? The penalty of the army movement speed is a big deal, of course, because that means that people are going to catch your ass. If you are caught offside, you're going to be caught. You're going to get caught. If you're invading someone's land, they will be able to catch you. They just will. But oh, they're not taking those forts back. If you capture a fort, they are not taking it back. But I do really like this interplay. I I think this really is going to be an interesting balance of which is the correct one to pick depending on your play style or what country you're playing. Because we don't know it. A lot of this again, it's going to have to come down to testing because we don't know how significant assaulting is going to be. We don't know how impactful having extra siege ability is. Doubt there's a lot of forts in the steppe, so you feel like steppe horde cavalry armies are the odd ones out again. You know what? That's fair. Offensive steppe, okay. You know what? Thinking about it in that context, Capped, uh, an offensive leaning quantity steppe horde sounds terrifying. I'd be horrified to see a 10% faster moving, wider frontage, massive army that doesn't even need as much logistics. They don't not eating as much food, just zooming across the field. You take an already fast as fuck unit that is steppe cav, and then you make it 10% faster on top of that. Whew. For Spain, you think defensive is the better option. You just want to maintain your territory. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you just defend the Pyrenees. Is the Pyrenees, right? I think it's the Pyrenees, yeah. The mountains.
Yes, those are the Pyrenees.
Unless you're a horde, there's no reason to do offensive with these modifiers. Really though? Because you say that, Endrit, but if you're just beating enemies, the other modifiers don't matter as much. Okay, the cheaper forts, that's a big deal though. Yeah. Because that means that even if your forts aren't getting engaged in combat, you're still getting that bonus, them being 20% cheaper.
Basically, my current
All right.
thought is offensive is great for if you're snowballing and if you're just blobbing. Whereas if you feel like you're going to be fighting any sort of pure power, defensive is going to win out.
Yeah.
That's kind of what my current gut instinct is.
Yes. Which is probably the way it should be. If you are a blobbing player, then you would want offensive. Offensive would help you a lot. And there will be situations where your extra army movement speed, especially when it comes to PvP, that just being able to catch your opponent would be incredibly handy. And the ability to siege and assault stuff is really good, I'm sure. But in a long, protracted engagement where you are trying to attack someone, even if you're offensively focused, attacking someone who's defensive, not good. Not good at all. But now what I want to say is that we can all speculate a ton about looking at these modifiers and saying, this looks just insane, guys. Oh my god. I played EU5 as the strongest defensive country in the world. And it just shows a picture of Switzerland with a bunch of like god rays on it. Look how shiny it is. But I want to address what we don't know are all the different things that make you defensive or offensive. We don't know all of the things that shift your societal values to get to that point. may well be, because I'm gonna say right now, I think we're all pretty much in agreement that an offensive is just worse in general. There's situations where it would be better, but in general it would be less effective. But we do not know what causes you to get either of them, societal value ticking wise. It may well be the case that the defensive ones will reduce your efficacy in other ways that you really do not want. But we don't know. Just thinking how if you get sieged down, the devastation penalties that you'll get in all those locations will be terrible. It's true. It is very true. Being offensive would mean that you're much more easy to siege, and you really, really, really do not want to be getting sieged. That is the big war is going to be very punishing in this. Iron Warriors versus Imperial Fists. Excellent, excellent, Gamal. It truly is an Iron War.
The fortifications win.
I'm sorry, we must fortify the Imperial Palace. We must turn it into a fortress. uh, we must turn the Imperial Palace into a fortress because Peter Turbo is on his way. Alright. Land versus naval. This is another thing that I'm going to be very curious about what it does. Right.
So much nicer than it EU4, man.
Honestly, I think that this should be maritime versus continental, or continental versus maritime, instead of land versus naval.
Well, yeah, probably.
You mean wording wise?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll see why.
Okay.
This
I'll
implies
read
a military focus that this does not represent. This more represents what binds your country together. Are you bound by water or are you bound by land?
Here we have actively wanted to avoid military-only attributes, as otherwise 99% would always go land. I don't know if I'd say that. I would not say that 99% would always go land if it was purely military stuff, but I'll read on.
How often do you see anybody go for the naval idea groups in EU4?
Only England.
England, sometimes Japan in multiplayer games.
Any island country. Yeah. I just don't think that
There
those
are two.
I don't think that those ideas are well designed in EU4. I don't think that they did the naval ones well. But okay, I'll actually read it. But fair point. I think that is a fair point that you've made, Vector. There is merit to what they're saying with the 90%. A land country will trace proximity quicker over land. Proximity. Oh. Will trace proximity quicker over land, trade over land, have larger RGOs, but trade over sea is more expensive, and naval countries will trace proximity quicker over water, trade over water, maritime presence is faster, but trade over land is more expensive. Ooh. That's very interesting.
This is why I said it should probably be more aptly named something like continental versus maritime.
Yes, because this doesn't imply anything militarily. Well, yeah, that's a very interesting case. I guess that, huh? That asks very interesting questions of how you'd play. Because I can imagine France, for example. That would be a big question for France, whether because you could probably do either effectively. Spain, you'd need to go. You definitely need to go maritime as Spain. But as France, you could probably do either. Germany, it's definitely land. But the question gets asked with a lot of places. But there's places like Germany, it's got to be land. Britain, it's got to be navy. Spain.
Wilhelm II in the High Seas Fleet disagrees with you.
But this isn't a militaristic one. Navy is much more impactful in EU5 with blockades. That's true. blockading someone in EU5 is just fucks them over. That just it is unforgivable. The worst. In EU4, you can take naval ideas and other ideas for the army, but here choosing naval would make the army worse. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Gemalt. With the way that they formatted this, if there was, maybe there is, I don't know. But I guess yeah, the idea of there being a focus that would give you bonuses to your navy that would all make your army on land then worse. Yeah, it's probably best that they don't do one like that. You're right. Netherlands, Venice, Genoa, and other maritime trader dudes should pick naval then. Definitely, yeah. However, the interesting thing is that since the game is going to be so sandbox focused in EU5, you could play the Netherlands and just go land instead. Because so much of your bonuses are just like build a bear, pick your bonuses, in the way this game works. So you're going to be able to be playing the Dutch and just be like, I don't feel like playing tall and going colonial. I'm going to be a European hegemon. But larger RGOs as well. That's a big deal. And then the whole like tracing proximity quicker over land or sea alternatively, those are very significant. Huh. But yeah, like the Scandinavians, it's gotta be naval as well. You need to be tracing that proximity over the ocean to get better control. Hmm. Capital economy versus traditional one? Excuse me? Oh, the question is for Oman, is better to be naval or land? Do you really need to ask that question, Gamalt? Do you really? Look me in the eyes and tell me there's any world where Oman can be a land power.
The Sultan of Oman lives in Zanzibar now.
Okay, but
Exactly, and he does not want to
what
go
if,
back. Why the hell would he want to go back
what
to
if
Oman?
they took all of Arabia? Hmm?
Then I pity them.
What if they took all of Arabia and Mesopotamia? Nah, Blackfoot Empire would definitely be naval.
I think so, yeah. Have you seen how big the Hudson's Bay is, man? Like, excuse you. I mean, obviously they're using that name. Alright, what the hell is capital economy? Country with capital economy is more focused on earning money. I like money, particularly from trade in towns and cities, but one with a traditional economy is oriented about living off the land. Motherfuckers really invented like hunter-gatherer versus urban?
I would instead view this as decentralized economy versus centralized market economies.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
essentially a traditional economy is more agricultural, decentralized, whereas capital economy is more, market, investment, that sort of thing,
It,
mercantilism.
it's the difference between Poland and Flanders in 1337. How does Poland make its money? Farm. How does Flanders make its money? Weaving shit and then selling it back to England. Traditional should be called a resource. Okay, let me actually read okay. Capital economy, cheaper buildings, lower bank interest rates, higher production efficiency while food produce is reduced, and traditional produces more raw materials, produce more food, and have a higher population cap, but the buildings will be more expensive. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Armos. That is definitely a resource economy style thing. I think that would make it much more clear if they labeled it as I don't know what I wouldn't call it capital economy doesn't sound right. Just call it urban versus resource. Yeah, I like that. urban economy versus resource, or even just urban versus rural. But or isn't that another thing? That's another thing. Like urban versus rural is something else, unless they change the names. The Blackfoot Empire choice is clear here. Obviously, the Blackfoot are the most capital economy. Like obviously, you're gonna see Alberta. It's gonna be devved up to high heaven. My gosh, the Old Man River, the Athabasca, gonna make those rivers sing. Woo! Cheaper buildings, man. Lower interest rates. The capital. That sounds so good. Both of these sound really good, but the lower interest rates. I don't know though. Okay, but at the same time, going into debt is just going to be so horrible. It like just at all that at the same. I'm starting to think though. I don't know if having lower bank interest rates is just kind of like preparing for failure. But then again, in like a multiplayer game with other players, you're gonna have to at some point. Hmm. Anyway,
I love how
individual.
Paradox has already successfully driven the fear of us all into interest in this EU5 compared to EU4. Yet
Yeah,
historically, it's the first state to really get this whole lend money, spend money, grow faster than it requires to pay it back. You know, like the Netherlands essentially
yeah.
managed to really take off. So it'll be interesting to see if they manage to thread that needle, or if us players are too dumb to thread the needle. We'll see.
In jeez, in EU4, it really is just a case of oh, outspend the debt. Debt is free, free money, especially with the burger loans, man. It's just interest. You just don't feel scared to take loans. Meanwhile, in this game, it's going to be if you're taking a loan from anyone that isn't the burgers, you are going to be exploited to hell. And you're going to want to actively declare war on the person you took loans from so that you don't have to pay them back. Rest in peace. Like, imagine the situation where you take a loan from the Medici banking family and then you declare war on them. You declare war on the Medicis because you don't want to pay them. That's actually something that can happen in this game. The Fugger banking
And
family
that
is going
is
to
why
exist against there.
people do not loan you money.
And then people will never loan you money again. This is very true.
Note to self: don't loan Joffrey money.
Wait. I'm not saying that I'm going to
Yeah,
do that.
at like 3 a.m. to break your kneecaps, saying the debt is settled.
I
Wait,
will loan you money only if I'm in a position to kick your ass.
wait. No. Gosh, that's gonna be so funny to play a banking family and you're just going around exploiting people when they're at war. It's like, hey, I'll offer you some money. Just gonna set up a banking establishment in your country real quick. It's just print some money. Kind of wonder if you play a colonial nation, what is better here? Like the Netherlands was the most urbanized country in Europe in the 17th century, but they got super rich due to trading resources. Oh yeah, like colonies are going to be resource focused like all the time. Like it took forever for colonies to get like truly urbanized. Hmm. And yeah, as the Netherlands, I don't think you actually, if you're playing the Netherlands effectively, you're probably not going to be going in debt much. I certainly hope not. It's going to be spooky. But anyway, individualism versus communalism. Hmm. Country based on individualism gets more exceptional characters, while one focused on communalism is about the greater good of society. Yeah, okay. Individualists for the greater good. Individualists have higher morale in their armies and their navies. Oh boy, higher morale. Here we go. And and a faster migration speed for its pops, but a slightly lower estate satisfaction. Okay. All right, keep talking, keep talking. Communalists have a lower satisfaction for pops to join rebels, far cheaper to revoke privileges from the estates, and a slightly higher estate satisfaction, but pops will migrate slower. Hmm. So it's easier for rebels to happen. It's cheaper to revoke privileges, and the estates are happier. They don't migrate. How big a problem is it that they don't migrate much? It can't be that big of a deal. No. Much is left, yeah. Mercantilism versus free trade. Oh, that's an interesting one. Mercantilists aim to protect the market price of the goods in their country, while a country focused on free trade wants to benefit more from the trade around the world. Yeah, yeah, difference between, yeah, the Dutch trading with everyone, going around the place getting the best prices and then reselling stuff.
Yeah, I get why they're doing mercantilism because they've been using that term for like 15, 20 years now, but I do wonder if protectionism might not be the better contrast versus free trade,
They
considering the
could,
bonuses that they're giving. But
they could, but think of it, but like based on the times, yeah, because
yeah,
like,
and that's why I'm not
yeah,
saying I've got a strong opinion about this. It's just a thought that crossed my head.
yeah, fair enough. And the bonuses, yeah, export costs from market more expensive to export. Hmm, market protection. So it's harder for areas that are in your market to get taken off over trade maintenance. But free trade advantage, market protection goes down. Trade efficiency goes up a little bit. And Burger's trade capacity plus 100%. You're going to be able to go so offensive. Yeah, it really is a case of like, yeah, with free trade, you can you'll very effectively yoink people's stuff, people's territories into your trade. Mercantilism is not about that though. But you'll protect your lands from other people's markets better. Hmm. But I suppose you could always just, I mean, you could always just embargo someone if you don't want them to be taking your territories anyway. Burger trade capacity? You can't wait to sell burgers to everyone? That's true. You should play as Hamburg. Is that your day one playthrough, Armas? You got to play as Hamburg and sell burgers to everyone? Burgers. Ah, there's outward versus inward. Oh, liberalism versus absolutism. Oh boy. Outward country focuses more on interactive. This is going to be one of the. I'm really waiting for this one, yeah. Because they mentioned a lot. You focuses more on interacting with other countries, while inward ones looks inside its own borders. An outward country will have a higher power projection, higher diplomatic capacity, and faster migration to colonies. Hmm. But a lower cultural tradition. But a lower cultural tradition growth. So this is another case of you have a less defense if you're outward, less defense about being converted. But I really don't think that's going to matter much for a player. I don't think that players are going to be thinking about that much. Inward, the power projection is a big deal, by the way, because having higher power projection than someone impacts diplomacy a lot, and having higher power projection, lest we forget. Having higher power projection is one of the things that enables you to straight up try colonizing someone's land. So, eh. It's the thing that means that if China wasn't ruled by Mongolians, means they would be able to start colonizing Vietnam at game start. But
Outward China,
but
infinite colonization.
outward China is such a funny. That's an oxymoron right there. I mean, not in modern day, but we're not talking about that. slaps big PP on the table. This mine now. Yeah, exactly. Whack. This table is mine. Yes. But the big thing is that you, other than the PP that's on the table, the big thing is that to actually colonize a location, you need to have more of your pops in the location than the person who currently owns it.
Well,
You need to make
outward increases that colonial migration.
This is true. This is true. Though the interesting thing about that is that it lowers your cultural tradition growth, and cultural tradition would be very important for trying to colonize someone's land, because they're going to be converting your ass while you're colonizing their land. So if someone's cultured, if someone's got like a good, they're a very cultured people, and you're trying to colonize them, ain't gonna work so well, because they're gonna assimilate you faster than you bring boys over. Inward countries, though, have higher crown power. Good, good. We like this. We like higher crown power in this house. Higher control. We really, really like this in this house. Faster cultural tradition growth. We really don't care. But the colonial migration will be very slow. Yeah. Um. That is. Wait. Yeah. The higher diplomatic capacity is a big deal as well. I was about to say easy Joff man inward focus unless he's colonizing, but then Joff man remembered power projection and diplo capacity. I really like crown power and control though. Help, I'm trying to colonize the Americas, but all of my conquistadors keep converting to the Aztecs. Yep. That's why you should just conquer them. Won't happen if you conquer them. But sorry to let you know, if you're trying to colonize the Inca and you are just sending people into the Incan lands and hoping that you will just eventually outnumber the locals and that this will be perfectly fine, they will probably either attack you or convert your land, your people. Um, yeah, because they're not going to have many cultural minorities to convert other than you. So liberalism versus absolutism. A liberal country will emphasize the importance of civic liberties and legislative governing bodies, while absolutism will focus more on centralized authority of its ruler, while reigning in the power of different estates. Are we going to see more crown power? I like more crown power. Liberal countries will have higher cultural capacity. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, better to accept, easier to accept more people. It's easier to get through requests in parliament. Its pops are less likely to support rebels, but the impact of a state power from the cabinet positions is higher. The impact of a state power from cabinet positions is higher.
So essentially, in a more liberal country, presumably with a more representative government, the ministers are going to have greater power and greater influence. So if your minister of war is from the nobility, the noble estate is going to have more sway in your government.
That makes a lot of sense, actually, yeah.
It's not like in an absolute monarchy where the monarch can, do whatever the fuck they want.
Such
They've
as
actually got to listen to their counselors, or at least not. They can't just act unilaterally. So,
such as we're reading now, an absolutist country gets higher crown power. It's cheaper to revoke estate privileges. Quicker integration too. That's for conquering lands and integrating them. But the expected cost of the court's higher. That is not a bad trade-off. Higher court cost versus all
depends
those.
on how bad we're talking, because the
True.
court at Versailles was not cheap to maintain.
And this is yeah. In fact, it was a huge problem. It was a huge problem how expensive the court of Versailles was. it may or may not have had some severe ramifications for the country at large that they spent so much money on that court.
At least some mild ones, yes.
And there was another one. I think traditionalism. I think being traditional is something that gives you higher court cost as well. Point is, there's multiple things that can potentially increase your court cost. So if you lean too much into that, you could be paying some goddamn hefty costs. And I bet that having more influential nobles will further increase the expected court. The court will probably have a higher expected.
It's like that freaking goddamn EU4 event where the nobles are expecting you to have lavish court rituals, and you have the choice of either just losing flat 10% loyalty, spending a fuck ton of money, or really pissing them off.
Yeah, which is funny and annoying. This is why based EU4 players remove the nobility and go parliamentarian. If the court cost is based on yearly
downsides.
If the court cost is based on yearly profit, it can be high as the sky if you're rich as China. It's hard to say what it's going to be based off, but one thing we know it's based off of is your government rank. That's one thing we know. And I very comfortably guess the nobility influence, but I'd say it probably. I would not be surprised if it's influenced by your gross income as well to a degree. But I doubt that's the most important thing. Stay tuned as next week we revisit a topic that has been revised. Oh. What the heck could that be? What on earth is the topic that's being revised?
I'm assuming it's stuff based on comments they've gotten on previous dev diaries.
I think it might be something because I know one of the biggest pushbacks they got was about the money from low control places just disappears one.
Yeah, yeah.
If they change anything, I imagine that might be one of them.
This was where they started. They started this one by showing us the existence of the Dimmy. Love me, commoner estate. Virgin EU3 haters.
I never played EU3.
Seven respectfully disagree. Yeah, I've never played EU3 either, but that's funny. Hmm. A lot of people seem to really like this, so.
All right, we can move on to the maps. I don't think we need to do the comments too much.
I think we did before you guys showed up. I was already talking for a very long time about this. Is adding more values moddable? Okay. I mean that's like the one thing. It's like wait, adding more values is moddable. Yes, you can add more values. Perfect. We can add societal
Everything
value. Do you like magic or do you not like magic? There you go. Anti-magic or normal magic. Cool. There you go.
Tomboys versus not tomboys.
Vector, that's not a question. You're scaring me. Vector.
Hey, some people would do it.
The answer's tomboys, right?
You know it.
Okay, good. I was scared for a second.
I don't know. I kind of prefer maximum femininity.
Sorry, I think Vector needs to take your place as moderator in the streams. We could be, yeah, America.
We're both mods on the stream, actually.
Oh yeah, you are. I think you two are the only ones. So there's that. Okay, I'm gonna avoid reading anymore because I keep seeing things that I'm interested in.
Let's go to the maps. Go to maps.
Dark.
Map time.
Will it be playable? Will America be playable?
No, it won't. He's lying. He's lying.
Yes.
He's lying.
That means the Blackfoot will be playable, right?
Go to maps.
The United States needs to
Indonesia.
be playable. America does need to be playable. It needs.
I can't wait for America to get another shitty DLC that nobody ever uses the content for because they formed
Exactly.
too late in the game.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Leviathan definitely didn't completely change the way that the New World plays late into the game's development cycle in a way that no one liked at all. Definitely didn't.
And they still haven't done
I
anything to
wasn't
adjust it.
talking about that one. I was talking about the one that gave the US its focus tree and shit.
Oh,
No, not focus tree. It gave it a bunch of flavor events and stuff. It's a really early DLC. I can't remember.
so Conquest of Paradise, the first
Was
one?
it Conquest of Paradise that gave America
No.
unique?
It was
events?
its own DLC. I think it's literally
Yes,
like
that's right.
American
That's what I
Dream.
thought it was.
Wow.
Yeah,
American Dream was a thing, yeah. Oh god.
Let me check.
What a cringe thing.
You're cringe.
Yup. Well. So we're looking
Let
at
me see if I can find it.
Southeast Asia today, and here is with filled in wastelands. Wait. A lot of these countries are very similarly colored.
Majapahit.
Is
Yeah,
it all,
Majapahit.
they're all subjects of Majapahit, but they're not colored. Yeah, they
Yeah,
should be,
this
that's
country-
right.
Majapahit is not quite at its imperial apex, but it's almost there at this point. Like, we are about to see Gajah Mada, for context.
I do not know what that means, but thank you.
Oh, he was the prime minister under, what's his name? Haram Maruk? I can't remember. Basically the greatest of the Javanese kings, and he was his prime minister, and he was basically Javanese Otto von Bismarck.
Oh. I do see that, yeah, Majapahit has not, yeah. There's two things that this map could have told me, knowing that it means that these people are vassals of Majapahit. It's like, this either means that they are on the way out or they're on the rise. And the fact that they're on the rise means that that is very scary because we talked about before how the Khmer are, or the Khmer, I don't know how people are supposed to say the name, but it's Khmer because how it's spelled. But the Khmer are on their way out, and they have a decent amount of pops, but they're surrounded by people that are much stronger, meaning China and India, and also Majapahit, because I'm willing to bet that they're gonna have as many people in just their core territory as Khmer has in total, because of how many fucking people
It
live on
came
Java.
with the American Dream came with the digital extreme upgrade alongside Purple Phoenix and Star and Crescent.
Oh, hell yeah. Purple Phoenix,
Glorious.
American Dream, and Star and Crescent, my favorite DLC that I definitely didn't forget existed, that added so many things. So many useful and
Joffrey.
interesting...
See that nation in the middle of Makassar? What if you remove the L?
What the hell is
Uwu.
Makassar? Oh no.
Big
Oh no,
Island.
you're talking about Uwu.
Luwu, but
Ooh,
yes,
woo.
he's
Ooh,
talking
woo.
about Makassar is the big island to the right of the bigger island in the middle of Indonesia.
I knew this is
The one that's kind of
Or
almost
Borneo, yeah.
star-like if it had one more peninsula in the top left.
It's Uwu. Yay. That's a mod.
Glorious.
That is a mod I need to release day one. Turn
Day one
Uwu into Uwu.
Just removes the L.
Yeah, just becomes an Uwu. Does not capitalize the U. Just lowercase Uwu. Right.
Glorious.
Bali exists, and it proceeded to just continue to exist in this shape and form for ages to come. Wait. No, that's not. I thought that was Brunei, just in. I thought it was Brunei in the Philippines for some reason. But
I think they're subjects.
oh, that wouldn't surprise me based on the color. Alright, well, let's get started. Very wide area filled with many countries. Obviously, the most important emerging power is Mahajapahit, yeah, no one knows how to say the name. It's funny. Majapahit.
Majapahit.
Yeah, it's Majapahit, originating from Java, who are taking advantage of the vacuum created by the disappearance of the Srivijaya.
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 I
Srivijaya.
need to send you a YouTube series on this area, obviously.
I clearly do. Um, yes, to conquer or subjugate many of the Malay, yes, the Malay polities to establish a new thalassocratic empire, Big C. In the island of Borneo, the Kingdom of Brunei is extending its territory with the subjugation of many countries in the Philippines. Okay, yeah. Where the Kingdom of Tondo is establishing a certain hegemony, but still with many other polities in the islands that could easily take its place. On the Celebes, oh, the Celebes. The island is divided into multiple countries of the Kingdom of Luwu, starting with L. Okay, being very self-aware today. Establishing a firm presence. Further east, Tidor and Ternate, I remember those names, are ready to also be very influential polities in the region, despite their humble origins and their smaller islands. Are they really? Really? Yeah, they're going to be influential. I couldn't even see them.
They're the Spice Islands.
I guess. But hey, the thing is, every spice is the same in this game. Unless we look at the
Cool.
trade goods and we see that cloves is a different thing. Which I doubt. Societies of Pops? None. There is one. Wait, there's two. Not much here. Only Arang Asli in the Malay Peninsula and Ilocos people in the northern Philippines. And there's like none of them. Damn. Majapahit first playthrough? Nah. 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 I don't even think I can say like I don't even think I can make the first playthrough joke about this area. I don't think there's anyone in this area that I would look at and be like, yeah, that's a first playthrough. I have no interest in doing a first playthrough that is very focused on boat. First playthrough's got to be like I mean sure could have like naval elements. A first playthrough for me, unironically, Morocco is something I would very heavily consider for a first playthrough because they can interact with both overland colonization directly adjacent to them. They can start exploring and colonizing immediately by going along by going southwest along their coast to get to and they start like right next to and like within talks of Mali. Incidentally, Mali are another country I would very heavily consider playing. Just someone and taking over West Africa in general. Yeah, that's something. So people I would very heavily consider, but I don't know. Jewish Andorra first playthrough. I did say that is the first country that I said my first playthrough statement about. But I don't know how I'd accomplish that, man. I don't know how I get the Jews to show up in the first place. uh, Loco's a bad name for the Society of Pops because that means crazy. Um, but like I assume that's because that's what their name was. I assume that they chose that name because that's just the actual name of the people. Mm, nothing too interesting to say about locations other than the fact that there's actually a bunch of land that is uncolonized in the interior of Borneo. Because there's countries all along the coast of Borneo, but there's a lot of land in the interior that isn't colonized. Hmm. That's like 40 locations worth of land in the interior. Hmm. Provinces. Yeah. Terrain. This is, yeah, actual topography. Tons of wetlands in Borneo, huh? Actually, the only mountains in Borneo are on the north side, because the impassable on the interior is actually, that's all the mountains, basically. Huh. Did not see that coming. Well, I should have, but I didn't. You're back, holy Indonesia. Yeah, we're doing Indonesia now. Oh God. I see that yeah, when I see that the stream just decided to shit the bed again. So that's great. But oh yeah, that's right. This something that's good about this is I really wanted to see. I didn't even realize until looking at it more closely. You get ocean here. This is all inland sea. Like the whole place here is inland sea and narrows. So this is all this is all very good for um very good for boats or galleys rather. Specifically galleys, boats. And ocean on the exterior. But you get coastal ocean, which I guess yeah, galleys are probably just like capable of functioning there, but they're probably terrible in actual ocean. But it's very interesting to see how it lines up like that. Coastal ocean. Wait, there's deep ocean around that island. That's interesting. Huh.
Yes.
Cool.
Deep.
Deep. Oh, wow. How
It's
could
all
this
jungle.
be?
Always has been.
How could this be? Always has been. But bruh. I love the like, well, there's a grassland and a farmland. It's like, I wonder where the major population centers are.
Absolutely. Nobody was surprised by this.
Gosh, looking back, everything is just jungle. Holy. It's crazy. Kind of lazy design, honestly. Lazy design. I think God should have like made this a little more diverse, don't you think? It's not very
No.
interesting.
No. In fact, I think we should copy that and we should have areas that are literally nothing but jungle.
You think we should have just like I think the whole southern continent should just jungle. Not
I
even
agree.
like a unique form of jungle because it's weird magic shit. Like it's a weird magic jungle. Like no, it's just
I
all
agree.
the same. Just jungle.
Alright, let's get on it.
Sounds good. All right, get to drawing. Tropical. It's all tropical
Wow.
jungle. This is kind of weird.
Surprising.
Development. Yeah, not as much. Oh, yeah, Majapahit's got some actually pretty good development in its core. Again, unsurprisingly, though we don't see the exact values, or maybe they'll make a comment. So I expect these parts are yeah, it's not as developed as what we've seen recently, except in Majapahit's capital. It's quite good. Part of the asylum where God ran out of time, so we just slapped Australia down below it. That is a great way of describing it. You see, he spent tons of effort doing Indonesia, and then was like, "Oh wait, I forgot to do the climate. It's all jungle and it's all tropics. Uh, and then oh fuck, I was supposed to do something underneath it as well. There was supposed to be more islands down there. Okay. Uh, mm, draw one landmass, throw it there. There. We'll call it Australia. And most of it's desert, so no one's gonna use it anyway."
And then I'll just throw every animal in there.
Throw every animal there. All no, not just every animal. Then he throws every animal from the beta build. Throws all the animals from the beta build in Australia. They're a little too crazy to stick in the
All those quirky,
rest of
weird
Eurasia.
designs he had.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he wasn't going to stick those in the rest of the planet. What a great way to describe Australia. It's the testing room. It's like the secret dev room of Earth.
Funny you should say that. If we go,
Funny. Sorry, what?
He cut out, but there in the next map you actually get to see a testing area.
Oh, that's great. I'm excited for that. Harbors. There is no good harbors in the Spice Islands. What the? Oh gosh. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's
But
gonna be
there are in
tedious.
the Majapahit area.
Vector was killed for leaking real life dev room secrets. Yes, you're right. Without him getting cut off, the lightning struck his house, killed instantly.
nah, this is my punishment for doing the stream and playing Stellar Blade at the same time.
He's getting bored. It's going on too long, and it's still got a lot more to go. Rip.
Yeah, diary, right?
Cultures. Malay. Yeah, now we get to see the full extent of the Malay.
Stream cut out.
Oh, it did again. Yeah, well, should be back again now, seeing as yeah, it says it's got data back. Okay, love how that works. At least it was pretty consistent for most of the streams, so that's good. But at any rate, yeah, we get to see the full extent of the Malay culture, which is very interesting, and how it's all over, spread across the spread across the sea. Where Polynesians are whack, man, going all over the place. Or I don't actually I don't know if they're considered Polynesians. I don't know what that culture group applies to. But there's a lot. Oh wait, where's New Guinea? Or just I guess Guinea is the whole island. I want to see what the cultures are like there. All right,
It's in the Oceania diary.
all right. Javanese. Don't see. It doesn't look like they've done minorities, so it's less of a cutoff and more like spam jump scared you with the thumbnail like 6 times. Huh. So when my Wi-Fi just like cuts out and the stream stops, it just shows you the thumbnail for a few seconds and then it comes back. That's great. Gosh, who is spamming all those emotes? What the? All right. All right. What is the culture of Brunei? Brunei is like split between 3 cultures up in the north.
It's the same one as on the east side, I believe.
Dusun. Yeah.
Kasan.
Oh, Kate.
Yeah, that one. Can't tell precisely.
Kaon. It's on both sides. That wouldn't surprise me if Brunei is the same. If it's that one. But at the same time, Dusan looks like a good candidate as well, especially since it's the one on the coast.
Doubt, because they both start with K.
No, I mean like the country Brunei's culture.
Oh.
But yeah, that is the same
maybe.
culture. I'm reading it now. It's the same on both sides. Yeah, just like Dusun is there on both sides as well. I think Dusun is probably Brunei's culture, but yeah, whatever. Not much more to be said about this, other than holy Philippines, Batman. Like that's what else is there to be said? When I look at this map, It does kind of start to make me think I want to play in this area because just due to the sheer amount of cultural assimilation that would need to be done.
Majapahit hit first game.
Majapahit hit first game. Or Tondo time.
It's Tondo time. Tondo is cracked in EU4.
Yes! They are ludicrous, which is really funny. Here they've got, yes, there'd be a lot of land for them to colonize here. Brunei seems interesting with their vassals that they gotta manage as well. Like half their country is vassals. Over half their country is vassals. Which sounds like a unique challenge all its own. But we know that Joffman loves vassals. This may be the most culturally diverse area we've presented until now. Yeah, it probably is. Minorities have not been done yet, and yeah, oh gosh. When this area has minorities implemented, it's going to look insane. This is going to look so schizo when minorities are done. Damn, like I aspire as a modder to be able to make an area look this just insane. I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna like the main difficulty with making an area look this insane in an EU5 mod is gonna just be naming all of the cultures and making sure they have different like RGB values. Like, god damn, man. Maybe I need to just get someone to mod for me that'll I'll just be like, all right, your job is just make more cultures. Throw them in there. You do that for me. While I'm busy coding character portraits and shit. Here's religions. Hindu. Yes. Big Hindu oh god, I just comprehended how many religions that this is the religious map mode. Oh god. There are so many. There's more
Yes.
there's more religions here than there are cultures in Europe.
No.
Definitely.
No, that's cap.
Also note that they've done a lot of splitting things into just where they're because of animism getting removed.
Yeah.
That a lot of these are probably placeholders where every culture gets their own faith, and so there will be some merging and.
No, that's the real cap. If they ever do that, I will sue. I will sue. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. Just ignore the fact that like 90% of the religions on this map are directly named after their associated culture and of the exact same RGB value as well. It's fine. It's fine. Trust. Wait till the next map. No ooh faith. Yeah, because there's no ooh culture. God. Yeah, the promised break to animist religion is now in full effect. However, this is not going to be the final step, but an intermediate one. We created a lot of different culture-based religions where we knew that people had different beliefs and rights, but now we want to group them into broader categories that would make sense gameplay-wise. Oh, okay, Vector is right then. Yeah. Following similarities in beliefs, practices, or mythologies. Take as an approximate example the North American religions shown in the religious overview Tinto talks. In this regard, we will appreciate any feedback on how to better group these religions. Okay, yeah, we did see that in for example, yeah, the religious overview map. We saw that the Plains native religions were split into like there were like 5 different groupings of religions across North America, and not counting Central America. Next map is 1 religion per location. Dear God, no way. No way there's that many cultures in Australia. There's no way that many people lived in Australia. Can't be
There's
so.
a lot. I don't think there may not be quite that many, but there's a hell of a lot.
All right.
You want to see? You'll just have to get there, Joff.
I will. Will. Core language. Languages. Don't know. Actually, go back to languages for a second. Malay language specifically is the big one. And then there's Timoric. Timor is the dominant language. That's funny. All right. And the court languages are basically the same as the normal languages, yeah. Materials. All right. Who's fucked? Who is just useless? And looks like the answer is Borneo. They got some. There's some copper and that's coal. There's okay. There's an iron and a copper. There's gold. Actually, there's quite a lot of gold here. So at least they'll be able to buy the stuff they need, and they'll make boats. There's dyes near Java. Oh, wait, those are horses? There's horses on that island. Huh. Incense. And the Spice Islands have no spice. Oh, wait, they got spice. That's what that is. That's not rice, that is spice. Still don't know how I feel about the fact that all spice is just the same. I can't. But I don't.
What's the point of making a bunch of different spices when they all do the same thing?
The point is that the spices
they all do the same thing.
But the problem is that Italy has more spices than Southeast Asia.
Okay. But they all do the same thing. That's spices are used for like one thing really, and that's it.
I guess.
Like, why would you make different kinds of spices when they will have the exact same function?
Well, because it's harder to simulate Europe wanting to go get alternate routes for shit when that stuff is already just available in Europe. Too bad rubber isn't a thing yet. Oh God. That would just be everywhere then. Screw you. Get rid of all that fish and lumber. It would just be replaced with that. I like the little sporadic wheat being dotted around through the jungle. The RGO size and potential. Common and exotic spices wouldn't make sense, no. You think it's important to distinct something like black pepper to saffron, which has always been extremely valuable. That's where it comes in, yeah, because you have things like pepper. There's a lot of spices that are really mundane that exist, which is like what you're finding in Italy. It's very simple stuff, but it's treated with the exact same value as cloves and saffron. Saffron's a big one, yeah. I always forget about that because I play too much EU4 where it's like, oh, everyone wants cloves. Yeah. Or simply, because I mean, Eastern versus Western spices, if you did Eastern and Western spices differently and you somehow made people want them, I don't know how you would do it is the problem. But if you, then you would have a situation where people in the East want what the West has and then the West wants what people in the East have. But, I don't know. Markets. Don't think I've got much to add to the markets. Other than, look, Borneo is split into like it's split into 4 different markets. Oh boy. All right, population. Here's something to take a look at. Majapahit's the most populated, which will help them become the regional hegemon they historically were. Yeah, they get 2.6 million just on their side of the island. They just They are so much more powerful than the Khmer. It's unfair. It is unbelievably unbalanced. That is just 2.6 million just on their 2/3 of the island. There's another 1.7 mil in Sunda. Poof. That's that's rough. There's so many Javanese. Wait, yeah, Sundanese is different from Javanese. Didn't like I saw that, but I didn't process it. It's all Hindu. Yeah.
The Kingdom of Sunda was Majapahit's historic rival and was like one of the few things that they didn't conquer or didn't manage to
And
bring into
look
their
at those
empire.
juicy population. The
Yeah,
enormity
the
of
island
Java
is incredibly fertile.
compared to the other islands.
I see you must have left and just come back, Dark, because we just finished talking
Yeah, I
about
did.
that.
I did. Oh no. Yeah, it's huge. All right, but now it's time for the good one.
Ah, yes, Eric, the 2.6 million Japanese people.
This has some of my favorite countries on it.
Mm-hmm. I
Mhm.
can't
You'll
wait.
see.
I can't wait to see your favorite countries. Whoa.
Yes.
There's so many. Is this
Mhm.
perhaps your favorite country?
No, it's the one in the bottom right. You see the one that's like a box? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was pointing at.
Well, stream lag, cope. You're wrong.
A bit different map today, as there's no regular countries in the entire region. All of them are societies of pops. Also, down to the right, that's not linear Atlantis, but our 30D material testing island, where our great, in brackets, 3D artists test how the different combinations of terrains look in game. Yeah, which we'll never get to see, apparently. It may be relevant to repeat our guidelines for how to categorize countries and societies, by the way. Okay, I appreciate that. So that I can continue to read it and be like, they're now making the Blackfoot playable. They're not making the Blackfoot playable. And Mega Pineapple's playing Rainbow Siege. I don't know why I still have him on my friends list. I haven't talked to him in over a decade. So, societies of pops, non-tag country. Okay. So, settled countries organized through states, which implies public power holding, monopoly of violence, tax collection, public works, writing slash written slash record keeping system. Even making the Iroquois settled is pushing it. Oh.
Mhm.
Even that is pushing it because of the fact that they like they I guess they had public works. Yeah. But like the public works and record keeping is so thin when it comes to the Iroquois, for example. But it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm. So don't just keep going through those. Maybe the Blackfoot could be a society of pops. Let's look at those requirements, Joffrey.
yeah.
Yeah, I expect there to be a lot of societies of pops, few settled countries in North America.
It's gonna be the Mesoamericans.
I'm imagining the Iroquois, the Navajo, a few others. But
I don't even think them. It'll just be the Mesoamericans and Andeans.
Cahokia.
the Incas, you mean?
Cahokia's gone.
Cahokia's not around
But
anymore?
remember, also,
Yeah,
if you look at
well,
societies of
100 years
pops,
ago.
That's inconvenient.
permanent settlements
Really?
refers to society of pops, not
Yeah.
settled.
Chiefdomly authority, permanent settlements, agricultural development, some kind of taxation.
And then look at that. What was that you said about the word bands?
I don't know what you're talking about, Dark.
Do you think that Is there any chance that like the word band might have something to do with the Blackfoot?
I don't think that I've never said the word band in reference to the Blackfoot. That I've never said that at all. Why would you think that?
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
And
d-
that's listed as non-tag cultures.
no. I would never suggest such a thing because
Can
obviously
you explain the Blackfoot band system?
you see it involves a very strict monopoly of violence, efficient tax collection,
Uh-huh.
diligent public works, and robust record keeping system with their wampum belts. You see the belts. They have these beads. They're very efficient at keeping records. I promise. Um,
So I just looked up Blackfoot band and I got an actual rock band from Florida.
Why?
It
Why?
doesn't even show the native group.
I am so sad. I remember they showed this information before, but I'm still in shambles. Man, we're just not gonna be able to play most Native Americans.
Probably. But like I said, all I care about for the Americas are the Andes.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, even
And while the
Cahokia is
writing wasn't
gone.
traditional, they did have record-keeping systems.
Mm. Oh, I can mod the Blackfoots to be an army-based country. Yay. Wow. Don't worry, you'll get to play some Brazilian tribes. Yeah, they got cities in the middle of the jungle. Yeah. I am so sad when you search up Blackfoot, the first thing you get is a band. Oh.
Did you just look it up?
No, that's what Armas is saying. Oh no. This is
Yeah,
so sad.
that's what I found.
It is so funny for me to think. I'm thinking right now, and I'm realizing right now the Blackfoot would be considered a society of pops. Right now, they wouldn't even be considered a vassal. They would not be made a vassal of Canada. They would be a fucking society of pop. That's a vassal. Dear God. Oh. I don't know what to do. How do I cope any longer when represented with such firm evidence? No, I just read what it said. Akin to EU4 natives. They out and out say it. They out and out. Why the hell is it saying CAD 584? What? Oh, this is it translating euros. $4 euros is 582 Canadian. Thanks. Thanks, Opera. This really helps. Reminding me that CAD is 582 €4. Yeah. Why? The fucking. Oh, and the way they're saying that. Dark, the way they're saying EU4 natives. I don't even think the Iroquois are going to be playable. They might not even make the Iroquois playable.
Copium.
There might not be a single playable country.
Nah, they'll have Iroquois playable.
The Iroquois might be like a society of pops, but the rest won't
Yeah.
even be that.
Cope. Get good.
Petition at the Blackfoot Rock Band as a state.
Also, because remember, it says have some complex organizational features, such as not necessarily all, but some. So that'll be fine.
Yeah. 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 Won't have a playable tag till Mexico. Yeah, and stateless societies probably aren't even going to be playable day one.
Can't wait to play
Honestly.
Cusco. First game.
Yeah, I actually would like to play Cuzco. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yep, I'll play that while you get to play the Blackfoot.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be playing the Blackfoot. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Just watch. They see my suffering and they change it. They'll make a change for me. They'll make them a society of pops just for me. They will. They'll do that. Just for me, like on Friday, Dark. You'll see. You'll see. Hawaii pops. Ooh. Hawaiian people. These are the only ones that are Hawaiians, though. The rest of them aren't Hawaiians.
Maui.
The Maui people, the Lahuanan
Dwayne the Rock
people,
Johnson people.
the Molokai. Great. I love Hawaiians. They make great pizza.
Oh, they
They make the best.
To throw sins on the Hawaiians, it originated in Canada.
No, this is one thing that I will almost always take any opportunity to attribute things to Canadians, but it's so much more funny to pretend that Hawaiians invented the Hawaiian pizza, especially since it Dark doesn't like Hawaiian pizza, so.
Yeah, it's bad. Pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. And if you think
Dude,
otherwise, you just don't have good taste buds.
especially if you actually buy a pineapple and cut it up. It's like actually like not like
Juicy,
shitty
tangy
pineapple.
fruit does not mix well with cheese.
Actually, it
or
does,
meat.
especially if you add even more cheese.
This guy has no idea what he's talking about.
When slash if your
doesn't know
mod
good
team
food.
receives the game before release for modding, make a Blackfoot mod for day one instead of the mod you're planning on making. That sounds like a great idea, Gamalt. Yes, because we will totally get early access to EU5 for the sake of being modders. And at the yeah, okay. If I do get early access to EU5
You
for the
guys
sake
won't know
of being
about
a
it.
modder, you will never know about it. First of all, you will never know. I will keep pretending that like I do not have access if I ever did get it. But if I did, I would make a Blackfoot mod. That's true. I would definitely do that. That would be something I because I would load up the game, look around the map, and then try to like delve through the code. And I would do a bunch of experimenting in the vanilla game's code before I started actually trying to port over the stuff that I've been working on to the EU5's code. The best pastry you've ever had was a cheese Danish with fruit on it. It specifically had pineapple. Cheese plus fruit is goated. You are correct, Just Cap. You are indubitably correct, indeed. Make all of Alberta one location. What? What? Why? Why would I do that? No. No. Well, not. Honestly, I should shit on them for what they've done to Canada, where Canada is just like 1/3 of the way up, 1/4 of the way up through Canada, it just becomes like wasteland with like little paths weaving the way through it. My grandparents' house, my grandparents' house is in a wasteland. My grandparents' house is deep in wasteland. That is the really funny thing. I just saw my grandparents the other day, and I had some great when we had some great food together. But yeah, their house is a wasteland. You can't live in Delph. Frickin' Lamont County, the place in North America with the most churches per capita, because there's not many people that live there. and the Ukrainians really like to build churches. You can't live there. It's tragic. My grandparents are wastelanders, yes. It is a wasteland out there, man. I don't know. It's just full of churches. You got the 50 people that live in the county maintaining them just million in churches. It's crazy. It's a lot. Again, tons of these just really small amounts of societies of pops. Like when you see these societies of pops on New Zealand, surely that means that there's plains natives that are playable then, yeah? Or at least societies of pops.
Maybe.
Honestly, with this amount of Maori people as societies of pops, I'd even be tempted to start bitching if they don't split up the different bands. I didn't say band. The different tribes.
Band. The words.
No.
Use the word.
No.
Use the
no.
word. Use the word. The word that means that they won't be playable.
No. Tribes are better. Split up. Because the blood tribe has different bands, and the blood tribe is the one that has the really big fuck off reserve. And the biggest in North America, paradox, the biggest reserve in North America. It's really big. There's a lot of blood tribe. In fact, every paradox game, actually on release, really funny by the way, release of EU4, like Alberta was just Kai and I, which means blood. It was just the blood tribe. This is funny. And to this day, Alberta is still like 1/3 just that location, which is just the blood tribe, which is great, because the blood tribe is the best tribe.
There you go, Joffrey. Yeah, I just added you with something.
No. No. It's not copium. It's not copium. They're gonna be playable. Look at all of them. Look at all the New Zealand societies of pops. Look, there are a few societies of pops in Oceania. 3 main hubs: Hawaii, Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, New Zealand. Be interested in listening to your feedback on this matter, nonetheless. What about not in Australia?
Also, look at how they didn't do any for Australia.
They didn't do any in Australia.
Australia is empty. So if do you think that there's more similar to the Aboriginals or to the Maori?
Whoa. Settle down, Dark. Don't need to talk.
In terms of how their societies were set up, what do you think is closer to?
I'm digressing.
It's much closer to the Maori, obviously.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep the copium canisters running. They're gonna be running full blast till Friday, guys. It's gonna be great. I have like every day, Monday through Thursday, I've got all those night shifts. I'm gonna be sitting there up all night, just being like, but like, think of the Blackfoot, because they had chiefs. They're organized around their tribes. Could a buffalo jump, like, do you guys think a buffalo jump is considered public works? You know, because they organize that spot because it's the organized spot where they did. You know, that could be. You know, I think
public works are like a wall, a well,
a wall. Now, a wall. Let's not get hasty now.
What about a well?
A well. That is advanced technology.
A road, a dirt road.
Oh, listen, the buffalo are moving, man. You don't got time to. My brother's playing Terraria, and yes, my brother's username is Tarkov because that's the character he invented.
Good Lord, I think
you
are dropping some copium.
Hey, whoa! Look, my brother was just online. Isn't that interesting? He's playing Terraria. I wonder what he's playing.
Pretty sure the Maori did actually build walls because they were constantly fighting each other.
Let's ignore that fact. That may or may not be true because they did a lot of fighting and they built fortresses. but palisades, because
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
not just that, not just wood walls. They would build large stone walls.
oh, oh, that
Copium, eh?
that's
A wall is a wall is honestly a public work because it protects you from other people,
whew. Uh,
especially a stone wall.
whew. You know, it's like minus 25 degrees here, but like minus
Is
25
that
degrees Celsius
so?
here, but
Are
I'm getting kind of hot for some reason. Whew.
you starting to run out of copium, Joe?
Whew, it's getting a. Hey, I'm just gonna look something up real quick.
Did the Blackfoot have walls?
No, I'm not looking. I'm not looking up anything like that. Ah, new Blackfoot words had to be created to describe the furniture, walls, ceiling, floor, rooms, windows. Ah! It seems here that they had to invent new words to describe a house, or a wall, or windows. That seems a little silly. That's. Oh no. Baldy going through an existential crisis. No, Baldy's fine. Baldy's so fine. Oh no. Oh, this means the Haida aren't going to be playable either. No.
Hey, Joffrey, when are you playing Baldi's Basics?
No. The Haida have to be playable. They're the most based people in Canada. No. No.
Hey, you might
Dark.
get the Huron.
Dark, the lobters. You remember the lobters I keep joking about?
Yeah.
I based those guys conceptually on the Haida.
Oh no, I guess they're not playable now.
No, the lobters have to be playable.
Joffrey,
No, wait.
Aren't you excited to play the Huron?
They're not gonna be playable. They're not gonna be playable. I can't play anyone in Ontario. Ontario's gonna be empty. You're gonna look at the culture map and it's gonna say Huron and Iroquois. It's gonna be empty. Not gonna be any playable.
The Huron built walls.
Did they?
Yeah. That's it. That's all you're gonna get, though. You're not. That's like the only thing in Canada that's gonna be playable. Ontario. You're looking forward to it?
The only part of Canada that's playable, and it's the fucking feds. God damn it. Ontario. Fucking. Just you wait. There's the only playable people in the plains are gonna be the Cree for some reason.
Wait, I'm checking.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Walls.
Don't do it. Did the Cree build walls?
No, they didn't.
It's going to be like, yes, they built stout fortresses to keep those horse-stealing Blackfoot out. Fuck!
Yeah, no, the Cree did not build walls. Although, honestly, I hope the Cree are playable, but not the Blackfoot.
It would be so funny. It would keep... The meme would be legendary if next week we see it, and it's just like, oh yeah, there's like 5 different societies and pops for different Cree tribes. Like the Blackfoot, it's just like, oh, here's like 3 counties with their culture, but they don't have a society in pop. This is why you should support alternative archaeology. You're right. Still unbelievably funny to you that he's saying something, he deleted it. Oh, I almost got him.
So think about horses and wheels.
Wasn't finished typing. Oh. That's the wrong kind of unhappy face. You're supposed to type it like this.
But yeah, Joffrey, no Aboriginals.
Yeah.
What does that make you think?
It makes me. I mean, because they had non-returning boomerangs as weapons, but the Blackfoot had bows. So
you're just throwing a stick at that point with a
love
non-returning boomerang.
I love it. I love non-returning boomerangs, man. I fucking love non-returning boomerangs. It's funny that horses evolved in America and then died out. That is one of the great comedies of you know the history of Earth.
Papua New Guinea doesn't have any societies either.
It's funny how Joffrey thinks Alberta has more influence on world history compared to some sad European village.
Yeah,
Hey!
I think that might be the case. This
Hey!
like random European village of a couple thousand people, more impact.
Now, just because Alberta is the absolute most out of the way place on the entire map of EU5 does not mean that it is uninfluential. Just because only 1% of players will actually play long enough where anyone colonizes or interacts with Alberta ever does not mean that it should be discounted so easily.
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen there.
The creature essential to the development of society is not present in the land of its origins. You kind of fucked them over, didn't it? If the horse was around in North America, that would have helped a lot.
It's not essential to the development of society because, like I said, you can see the Aztec and the Inca, for example, it was fine.
Yeah, it's just a lot more difficult. But they, eventually they were making their way there. It just was taking a long time, and they seemed pretty content with where they're at a lot of the times. Didn't have anything that was going to like cause them to jumpstart innovation either. Also, they didn't have like there wasn't like iron. I don't think they didn't have like the materials in Mesoamerica to actually like start becoming Bronze Age civilizations. The llamas, yeah, they did actually have some pack animals. The Inca were just OP. The Inca were just stupidly OP for the Americas. They were not fair. Like whenever they were being balanced, someone did not consider the implication of giving them llamas and just the ability to, for some reason, have good control over mountains. North America's tin and copper deposits are like unbelievably far from one another. Yeah, yeah, and that kind of the inconvenient thing about that as well is that in Europe, where you've got the tin, you have the tin in Cornwall, and you've got all the copper in like Mesopotamia, and Greece. Boats were a thing, and they were very heavily used. So you'd have boats that would send the tin from the few places it existed, like Britain, and they would send it down past Brittany through rivers, and then takes it over land. It'd go past Marseille, uh, the Greek colony that was there. That the name Marseille came from, and then eventually make its way to the Bronze Age world. Uh, eh, Massalia, yeah. That's who I should play. I should play Imperator Rome and stream it when I've got an opportunity later this week, and I gotta try playing out Massalia. That's who it would be. Greek people on the edge of civilization. Sounds pretty based. But there's not a whole lot left to look at here. Oh god, that looks horrible. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Deep ocean. I love how
Sacrifices must be made.
the deep ocean. That is a spooky color. I can't wait to make a deeper ocean.
Look at that beautiful line.
I do like the line though, yeah. And we do need to.
Keep that.
What color do we make ice flow? What do we make ice flow turn in the ocean? Just white.
Of course.
You'll have deep ocean, and then right next to it is just white ice flow.
Wet ocean. As opposed to
I like
dry
that.
ocean.
Yeah, where it is not wet there. Yeah, fuck tons of copper in the Great Lakes region. Huh?
I will tell you, water is in fact wet.
Is it now? Is it really?
Yes. Yes.
Hmm. Hawaii. Wow. Hawaii is so off the beaten path.
Yeah.
That is super out of it. That is so interesting how that works. I need to see. Okay, wait. Do we then get to see trade?
No, because there's no
No.
land. No one has land there. There's no trade.
So, what I want to know, something I'm very curious about, is how trade impacts with something like Hawaii, where it is just
Societies of pops do not interact with trade
that's not what I mean. I
systems.
mean, due to it like geographically. So like, just imagine, how these islands in general is like impact trade going through the region, where like does deep ocean get brought into someone's trade? Like, is that in someone's
I
market?
imagine that you won't really be able to pull the deep ocean into your trade without owning the adjacent islands, and you'll have to
Yeah.
probably own it directly
So that's making me.
as an actual settled country.
But yeah, yeah, of course. But my that's not what I'm wondering for like I'm thinking cause, like conceptualization purposes because there's a specific country that Nikeo country I told you about with Wizard Man on the island in the middle of the
Uh
ocean
huh.
because he is that area is supposed to sit like directly on the trade winds like so like he
I'm heading up for the night, guys.
okay okay
Nice.
sorry Vector sorry you have a good night uh, yeah, thinking conceptually, that island is supposed, or those that set of islands is function similar to Hawaii, where it's like it's between to a degree two ocean currents, but like in this case, in our mod, it's going to be like in between the two big ones, that people would be taking between the new and old world. So theoretically, and what they're supposed to do is that they'll just suck up like a lot of wealth, where like when money goes either way, they should be people should have to pass their market. And I'm curious how that works in this game, where if you've got Hawaii, for example, can you exert influence and force land into your markets on the deep ocean like that? Or is deep ocean just not in a market at all, and you need something like all these just normal oceans or coastal oceans that the trade has to go through before you get any control? Just don't know because something about the texture, just the way that deep ocean is colored, how dark it is, it's got that. It gives me that feel that it's meant to just give you this sense of because how dark it is. It reminds me of the black color of impassables, you know? So it gives me that feeling like this might
Eh,
just be land that's meant to imply it's just irrelevant land. But
yeah, you just go through it.
and that would be a little annoying if that's the case, but you know,
I imagine that you are able to trade over it because of Spain owning the Philippines.
but the Philippines are completely surrounded by normal ocean tiles. Like
I
there's
imagine
coastal ocean and
if you zoom
oceanic.
in,
So yeah,
there is actually a deep ocean right to the east of the Philippines. See that little
that
black box? Yep,
oh
it's connected. So you can go eastward to the Americas and New Spain,
well
and
okay.
then from New Spain to Spain.
I'm not disputing that trade crosses this, but I'm essentially postulating that this might function like a straight, like a straight, but for trade, if that makes any sense.
No, it does not.
You don't think so?
That makes no sense.
Let me go back to the other one. All of the markets here are only covering coastal ocean or inland
Yeah.
sea. None
Yeah,
of
I
these.
imagine if there is a split, it is likely going to be cut off. So, for example, if Hawaii is cut off, Hawaii might just be its own trade node, and it can't go anywhere else.
Because so yeah, that's what I'm getting at with when you look at this Hawaii. I don't think that the trade from Hawaii is like I don't think you're capable of having that market expand into this deep ocean.
Yeah, the market is probably limited to there, but it can trade with other markets through it.
But why would it? That's then my question of why does a market theoretically shouldn't a market like you're trading across this deep ocean. It goes past this deep ocean. It should like theoretically it's just skipping Hawaii on its way. Which feels really weird to me. You'd expect them to stop at Hawaii.
Hawaii doesn't give much of anything to the global economy except a tourist destination. Like, what does, other than tourism, what does Hawaii do?
The fact that it's on the way. That's what I'm getting at is the point. Like, how do you set something up? Because the way that the markets work is that something gets more expensive the more markets it goes through. So it skips Hawaii. So any markets that are in Hawaii aren't relevant to like the international. Like it's not important to own it theoretically because of trade. Because you just skip it.
And no one did own it.
And then it just matters who owns these. So like
For a long time, no one owned it.
I guess. Huh. Hmm. I'm gonna have to think about the implications of that when it comes to making said country that I'm talking about.
In fact, no one owned a lot of those islands for a very long time.
See, you see, I'd been talking. I'd been talking with my brother about that country and how there might need to add some more islands to the ocean around it because of something like this potentially being the case. And now this definitely looks like it will need. I will need to add more islands around that area so that that country, yes, this Nikeo country in the ocean can then project its trade over the ocean.
Let's keep going and
but
see what we find.
I'm not gonna find anything more. What do you mean?
I don't know.
Look, just say move on.
Look at the desert in the middle of Australia. Holy shit! Whoa! I wonder what the development of this region is gonna be.
If you want me to stop rambling about a subject, just tell me to do that instead of being like,
whoa!
Like,
holy shit, Joffrey! I want to see that development map. Whoa!
And now you're just being rude.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Sometimes you can just tell me what you want instead of being snarky about it.
I'm not being snarky. I'm being playful. There's a difference.
All right.
I'm surprised about the jungle on the East Coast.
And the West Coast?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Why is Australia palatable? Like along the whole coast.
Oh, the East Coast is fine. The East Coast is fine.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know why the West is.
This is where all the mountains are that stop all the water. But why is there? I didn't think there's jungle in the north, and I know there's a little bit of like habitable land in the south.
The West, I'm not sure.
I didn't think. Okay, well. Yeah, so we can see the full purpose of the terrain testing island. Yes, they got all the swatches. Development, nothing.
Who would have thought?
Northern Australia is basically Florida? But with more trees, I guess. I don't know how many trees Florida has. I always just kind of assume
Australia is bigger, so I assume it has more.
Probably. Yeah.
Look at all those harbors.
No harbors in Tasmania, though. Oh, well. Or in the South Island of New Zealand. The north one's where all the people live, ain't it? North Island, New Zealand?
And also nobody lives on Tasmania either.
I wouldn't know. Southwest and Southeast Australia are the most densely developed and populated areas because it's not a desert or a jungle. Well, someone should tell that to this map. Oahu. Oh,
Yeah, I wonder
oh,
if there's a famous harbor there that
oh.
once got bombed in 1941.
That's an oddly specific hypothetical question to ask. I
Yeah, I
wonder,
wonder what happened there in December of 1941.
including a very infamous one in Oahu. Oh my! I got my wish. I got my wish.
Have you have
Holy shit!
chat? Have you guys ever played Pokemon Pearl Edition? Because that might be irrelevant.
Holy!
Yes.
Oh my god! And yeah, no societies of pops here. So yeah, the Blackfoot are they're so boned. The Blackfoot are doomed.
Yeah.
None of these are societies of pops.
Uh-huh. Little meow meow.
I really need to unfriend some of these people. God damn it! I'm so. I don't even know who that is anymore. I've got people on my friend list that have changed their names. There's probably like I have like 3 different people on my friends list who I think I know who they used to be by investigating them, and I think there's like 2 that have become femboys since I used to play EU4 with them, but I'm not sure. Giving so many Imperator Rome vibes right now. Imperator is not this dense. this is way more dense. Leno, so Leno, when we're working on the EU5 mod, are you gonna help me out by like picking a certain part, like random parts of the West, where you want to put those spiritualist monk temples and be like, all right, every location a tag and every tag a culture. You'll and every culture a sect. You'll help me out with that, right? Right, buddy.
Sure, buddy.
Old pal, old friend. Leno's a real one. He would totally do
Definitely.
that for me. So you
I'll help you out. I'll help you out, Joffrey. Don't worry. I got all of these. You know, I am great with names.
you are famously good with names. I definitely haven't
can
named
have
90% of the things in the area that you the one area of the map you've been like, this is my area. You've also been like, but Joffrey, so here you go, now name them.
So Joffrey, we can have the Joe tribe, the
Mhm.
John tribe, the James tribe, the Jim tribe,
The Jimbo.
the Jim, but
The
spelled
Jimbo.
JGYM tribe.
And then you will come up with again the famous rivalry between the Jim and the Jimbo. The Jimbo split from the Jim tribe long ago.
It's actually Jim JIM that hate the Jim GYM tribe.
Because their names are too similar. Also, their color is only like 30 RGBs off. They're like the same
He gets
color.
it. He gets it.
The Mum tribe? No. I didn't see the Mum. Unfortunately, you couldn't play them anyway. There's the Daga.
You're gonna have to be a bit more specific than on Papua.
There's a lot of Papua, yeah.
Oh, I found them. I found them at the top right. They are slightly inland next to
there's
Barham
Mum.
and Rao.
Yes. Oh, yes, north again. That narrow.
Thank you.
Do you have any
Very
idea how
specific.
little north, not on the coast? Again, I'm okay. That's better. North and not on the coast is better. Yeah. The Mum couldn't have even said the color. This man couldn't have even been like, they're like a pinkish,
Lavender.
faded lavender color. Yeah.
That's straight up just lavender.
They looked up lavender RGB. And they're like, all right, type it in. Enter. There we go. You need a random RGB generator to make this shit work. There's no way. Actually, cultures can probably have the same color code as each other. It's just the locations that probably don't. Actually, I wonder how that works. Yeah, you probably can't have locations at the same RGB in this game either. Which is insane to think because there's so many locations. Oh, he's trying. He's doing it. All right, thank you, Armos. That's great. That's great advice. Make sure that anytime you want to tell me anything, you need to explain it in that much detail. Wait, that's actually a big culture. The Noongari.
Noongari.
That's actually a fun word to say. I like that. The Noongari. What if I stole it? Would anyone notice? No one would notice, surely.
Yes.
No, I don't think so. um, damn. How much effort did it take them to find this?
Mate, the Blackfoot are so doomed.
They're so fucked. They are so fucked. See, on the plus side, it means that there's probably going to be a Kainai culture. On the negative side, they're never going to be playable. I'll get to look at the map and be like, wow, not only are the Blackfoot playable, they're not. And not only are the Blackfoot a culture, their tribes are different cultures too. That's cool. But they won't be playable. They won't be. Also, I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon because Papa goes
Your
sleepy.
work?
No, Papa goes sleepy. But who give me a heads up? Daddy gonna give me a heads up beforehand? Fuck off, little meow meow. Why are you playing a Hogwarts Legacy?
Why not?
Oh, I know who that is then. I've only got one person that plays Hogwarts Legacy on my friends list.
Second, let me load it up real quick.
No! No! Is it you? Are you on my friends list?
I don't think you're called Little Meow Meow, Leno.
I'd believe it, though. Yeah, Tarkov is still playing. We got Mr. Sunshine the First in the menus. Just
Neon Hedgehog.
I don't like that guy anymore. I should take him off. That's the brother of my the father's the woman that my father is married to. For the moment, still. So.
Neat.
Yeah. He's a decent enough guy. I don't play games with him anymore. It'd be awkward, for obvious reasons. But he keeps wanting me to come.
Glorious United Majority. So, in terms of, look at all that glorious language on Australia, and then he just got the North.
I don't know how to. Why couldn't they have just?
Want to try.
Why couldn't they just fill in the wastelands?
I don't even want to try. I'm not gonna lie, mate.
Why is it all the same language too? In what world is this just a case of like there's no records of what the Aboriginal languages are? Or maybe it's something like maybe it's something to do with written language? No. Because the Maori didn't have a written language. But I don't know. Sheesh. Crazy stuff, man. The Maori might not be too bad to play, TBH. Yeah, with their stone walls. They're
definitely better than the Blackfoot. I don't know who would want to play them.
We have extensive language maps here in Australia. You know, Dark, it's starting to scare me the more I realize how big being 1.5K on YouTube is. That I can just be talking about Australia and being like, I don't know this question. I wonder, and there's some anywhere between like 9 and 20 some people watching me at a given time, and one of them might just be from Australia. And no,
right.
That scares me.
This is why we need 10K. So everyone in chat, I want you to talk to all of your family members, all of your friends, everyone you know. Tell them to subscribe to Partner Joffrey's YouTube channel. Tell them to ring that fucking bell. Smash that like button.
One of these days, there's going to be an actual Blackfoot that watches my streams. I will be dead, because then they're going to come for me. They don't like when you talk about them this much. They don't. They don't actually.
They'll show you. They'll show you why they're called the Blood Tribe.
Er- and Eric's not even subscribed.
Eric,
Eric
you gotta stop.
Shadowblade.
Subscribe.
Eric
That is
Shadowblade.
an edgy name.
You gotta subscribe right the fuck now so that you can compete
Ring
with
that
Dark.
fucking bell.
You need to compete with Dark to be more edgy, because you need to see if you can be more edgy than the Darkest Light. Take the title from him. Ring that bell.
That is an edgy name.
Darkest Light, which is more edgy, Darkest Light or Eric Shadowblade?
Mate, it's Shadowblade.
Shadow.
That is edgy.
It's Shadowblade. Holy shit! Stop, little meow meow. Stop. This is why I'm always offline on Steam. I love it. It brings me such joy, by the way, every time I open up Steam and I see the smug dancing. Also don't worry about the fact that I have one badge giving me 20,000 XP. I definitely didn't get all my XP from the Grand Prix 2019 thing.
See, don't worry, Eric. My name also came from about that age. If you want to know something really embarrassing, my online persona, I used to go by Chuck Norris. It was that was an embarrassing time.
So the first OC I ever made was named Hargal, and he was a bald dude with a halberd. Weird how that turned out. Now I'm a bald guy that likes halberds. The second one was Partner Joffrey, because it's too expensive to get a halberd instead of the katana that I was given for free. But the second one was Partner Joffrey, and he's maintained pretty much the same as he always been. But the third one I made when I was 13. Hargal I made when I was 17. When I was 7. Joffrey I made when I was 10. The third one I made when I was 13 was Soul Reaper Kane.
Oh, I don't know. I think Chuck Norris might be worse.
I never used it as an online handle, though. That's the catch.
I did.
Chuck Norris? Just Chuck Norris?
Yes.
Dude.
Yes.
Dude.
Back when I was in like middle school.
Dude, I'm gonna implement into our mod somewhere. I'm gonna somewhere implement as this super edgy meme, Soul Reaper Kane, as a dude who just like thinks that he feeds off people's fear and shit. Because that's what he did. He had a fucking scythe, and he would become more powerful if you were afraid of him. It was the most fucking over the top thing, and over time I only added on to it once I started to realize how stupid it was. I love it. There are currently 13,000 Blackfoot people. That means that there's only 10 times more Blackfoot people than are subscribed to your channel. You know it's bad. You know it's really bad. Okay. The Indigenous Studies teacher in my city, first of all, horrible person. She's the most racist person I've ever met. Second of all, though, the actual important thing, she's Cherokee. She is actually like that like the white woman who is like, I am 1/5 Cherokee thing. It is hilarious. But that's how you know it's bad, man. There's not even any, like, there's not enough. Okay, there are, but, like, there's not enough Blackfoot people for my city's Indigenous Studies teacher to be Blackfoot. It's tragic. This has been good. Ever since Vector left, we just slowed to a crawl. This is what happens. Because Dark, like, when Dark is awake, he'll shit post with me, and we just keep going, but Vector, I think we need to cut him out. I think we need to cut him loose.
You want to cut him out?
He's harshing the vibe.
Get those markets.
Dark, you were saying there were no markets.
Deal into the turn 8 market.
You said there were no markets. Look, it's all turn 8. Wait,
I don't think they have any influence on the turn 8 market whatsoever.
Turn 8's the capital of, like, Tongo or whatever it's called in the Philippines.
I think the country is called Ternate.
Wait, no, this means that all of North America is gonna be in the Iroquois market. It's gonna be
Probably.
Onondaga,
Well,
the
you know,
Onondaga market.
there's a
Boom.
chance. There's a chance that like all of California and up to Alaska are in a Mexican market.
It probably is, yeah. I bet that's probably the case, yeah. Also, if big
I bet
ups
you can't wait to see the Blackfoot in the Mexican market.
actually wait, societies of pops don't exert their own market, so
No,
yeah,
they don't.
the Iroquois probably aren't going to be settled at game start, so they're probably not going to be their own market either. Oops. Damn. That's rough. Why couldn't Cahokia just last a little longer, man? It would have been so interesting to not play. Wait, there's another market here. Oh, it's Goa.
Yeah.
Fuck. The whole
They
Pacific
really
is just
thought it'd have
turnate.
its own. And there are like no resources there either.
Population. There's some issues with population distribution. The map of the region this week, but I'm letting you know that the total population is 1.8 mil. Just under 2 million people in this whole area. Oh, God. That's all for today. If you want more detailed maps given of an area, just let me know. So I'm aware of the scale of the region shown doesn't fit well with the usual format of the Tinto maps. Next week, we'll be taking a look at the last continent remaining, starting with the region of North America. Okay, so they are like,
Last continent with the region
yeah. So
of North America.
they're showing us
So
all
North
of
and South
North
America are
America.
one continent. Look at that. Look at the last continent. We haven't seen North or South, so they consider it the same continent.
Cringe, but also true.
But North America is a region.
It is true though. They are the same continent, but
Does that mean Europe and Asia are too?
yes. Yes, they are. The whole thing is just Eurasia. It's Afro-Eurasia. It's all one landmass, but you know.
You know, we had this conversation before, back during the Ice Age, when there was the land bridge between Alaska and Siberia. Other than Australia and Antarctica, you had just like one almost.
It's true. It was all just like one thing, and that I think that's what led us to in our setting making basically the whole thing just one landmass,
Big
except
continent.
for I think us talking about that is what led us to the conversation that caused our setting to be basically just one landmass, except for Australia. Except Australia is in the other corner. It's in the west corner this time, and there's actually like it's really wet. But anyway. Oh yeah, you said Vector's a wholesome chungus. You can't cut him out. You know, well, yeah, mm, fine. Maybe we won't then. All right. Oh, there's no countries to represent the Aboriginal people. Yeah, none. Hmm. Gosh, I'm gonna be at work this week combing through this thread, like coping, being like, okay, come on, come on. Any second now, Poppy is gonna respond and be like, actually, yes. We just haven't added them yet. There's gonna be 3 for the Aboriginals. Hmm. Um, yeah, that it only took 3 hours to get us caught up.
Not bad.
That was just sad. The only thing haven't seen is let's close that Saturday buildings. And look, Bastion, Opera House, and Port Authority. 400 Burgers? I hate these. I hate these. I'm going to talk about it forever. I hate these icons. One of these days I'll get you to. Get us how? What does he mean? How's he going to get us? I don't want to get got with the yacht.
Yeah.
An age of absolutism building that shows the icon age and the icon for the tech as well now. So presumably that's what these two are, I guess. No, that's the building type. That's the age, maybe? What does it mean? Well, this here presumably is the thing that's showing us what you need to research it or to make the building. So 500 gold. Woo! Takes years to build too. Oh gosh. To get us with Eden's yacht. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Glad to know, Leno. Yeah. I mean the yacht's gonna be the one protecting us in Dark's game. No one in the stream's gonna have any idea what the fuck we're talking about.
None at all.
That's right. And the other Saturday building, which does have a dev response. Port Authority. This 200 burgers. This is definitely burgers. Oh, yeah, that okay. It is the age. Yeah, it requires the age of Reformation or whatever they call it. Yeah, it is Age of Reformation. Okay, it literally says Age of Reformation buildings that can have multiple levels and can be built in any town or city with a port. Port Authority. Market protection. Burgers trade capacity. And just trade capacity. Multiple levels too. That's what this icon is then, yeah. I guess that's the icon that just says more levels. Glass? You need glass to build it, though not for upkeep. I don't know. It's looking bad for the glass market, guys. Rest in peace, sand. So many things needed for the initial investment, but you know, it's like a ladder. You know, the ladder market really suffers from the fact that lots of people want to buy a ladder, but no one needs a new ladder. Everyone only needs to buy one ladder, and they never need it again. You know, they only need to buy your sand to make some glass once. They don't need it anymore. Yeah, we are gonna be ending this soon. Yes, Leno. Just wrapping up the last thing. Yes, you have fun with Spirit Island. Yes. How many levels are there? Oh, that's a huge dev response. It's a few. What the hell? Okay. How many levels are there? Usually the amount of levels you can have in it depend on the total population, building category, development, advances, etc. I'm just taking the numbers out of thin air. A workshop type of building, early game production ones like the Saltpeter's Guild or Tools Workshop can have like 5 levels at base, and then +1 for every 50k living in the location, and 1 for every 10 development. Okay. So it is affected just, yeah, again, arbitrary numbers, but it is affected by specifically development and number of people gives you extra capacity. How does that work in Imperator? Any of you folks who, yeah, I definitely need to try Imperator in the next couple days. I'll find an opportunity when I can play Imperator between when I wake up and work. I don't know how building capacity works because there's like Imperator has you can just build levels of buildings, but it's like you have every given location is like all right you have this many out of a capacity of building slots, but what increases the slot capacity? Is it population? Is it like you have enough people? Is it civ level? Because I know civ level is another thing. Maybe making something a city increases it in Imperator? I don't know. I'm trying to think how that crosses over. Because I mean, you've got Victoria, for example, where in Victoria you just build as many as you want. In cities, building capacity is determined by population. In rural regions, always 1. But you can increase it to 2 with a tech. Well, that sounds like a very useful tech to get. That you could increase it to 2 if you get a tech. Hmm. I was watching a video the other day where someone was playing and they were uh their rural territories that had they had a bunch of they were playing a mod. It was this video where they and the buildings are different between cities and rural. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was watching an Imperator video, very long. Same kind of dude. I was watching him because I mean makes the kind of content I do, where it's like very long ass streams. So he had like 2 hour long streams that he would cut together into videos or recordings rather. He wasn't actually streaming it, and it was him playing a mod for Imperator where he was in South Africa or Central Africa, like Ghana, rather Southwest. He was playing in Ghana. Is the point, and he was like the rural areas he was sending a bunch of pops to. He would like send a bunch of slaves there to increase the amount of the resource he was getting. But yeah, it was always, no matter how many people he sent, it was always only 1. But in cities, it's determined by the number of people. Okay. That is interesting then. And in this game, it's going to be the location, but it's not we don't know a whole lot about EU5 yet in regards to what making something, because there's settlements, towns, and cities. I don't think metropolis is a term in EU5. I don't remember. But that probably has an impact on that as well, I suppose. I wouldn't be surprised. What development impacts some buildings? To represent the history of a location and the infrastructure of a place. So Venice can have more jewelers than, let's say, Damietta at the start, even though they have a very similar population. The rural buildings usually decrease the number of pops needed to produce 1 more of the resource. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So it's a kind of thing where a rural territory an Imperator has, like, it's got the RGO, it's just got that tiles resource, and then you make a building there if you want to make it easier for you to produce more copies of it. Yeah. And then I guess if you get that tech that lets you make more tiers of the building or lets you have an extra building, then the idea is you can make yet another tier of that building and just make it even cheaper for you to get more copies of it. That's cool. Just make more grain and such, yeah, to build bigger cities, I suppose. Why does population impact some buildings? It did not used to until we started developing content in China and India, where single locations had more populations than some regions in Europe. Yeah, some of those fucking single locations in Asia are crazy. We now have an internal joke about when you need to rework a system. Did yuan break it again? Which is kind of funny, as the English pronunciation of yuan is not far off of how people at the office say the name Johan. Oh my gosh. Oh, because the H is silent in Johan. So it's Johan. So it basically sounds like whenever someone's saying the yuan broke something because they're so weird, it sounds like people are saying that Johan broke something. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm taking a screenshot of this for sure. I'm taking a screenshot of this and that is going straight into the memes channel on my Discord server. That is perfect. Did you unbreak it again? Yeah. That is fucking hilarious. It's also great to imagine thinking about the fact that they make all this systems for the game and they're playing they're doing stuff in Europe and testing things, and then they apply changes and then they test stuff and mess things around and implement it in Asia, and then suddenly, oops, sorry, because random parts of China just have more population than the entirety of Iberia. It's like, well, oops, now this system doesn't work. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That now it's like, well, you making the number of people you have in a location give you increasing ability to stack buildings. That makes a lot of sense because, I mean, what else are you going to do? If you don't let it impact that, then you're going to be in a situation where you just have a location that has a stupid amount of people, but they can't have jobs because you can't make buildings for them. All tiles will always produce 1 unit of the resource. Huh? Normally a tile will produce 1 resource for every 15 pops, and if you build a slave estate, that decreases by a bit. I thought I'd seen that if you... Yeah, okay. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. And you only get one. Yeah, it only makes 1 resource. I've also seen that in Imperator, when you turn something into a city, it typically changes the resource it makes, which is interesting. Why does advances impact it? There's some buildings that get a new level each age through an advance, and we have that so we can spread the power through the game and make it more fun to upgrade. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, you get the tech, and it's like, oh wow, yay, this tech has unlocked, and now I can make a higher tier building. Woo! Why is it a cap? To balance the game, to make some buildings useful, to increase diversity, and to limit economical crashes. Some buildings like a castle or royal court only have 1 level, but a castle can be upgraded to another type of fort. That makes perfect sense. And to clarify, if I have a level 20 Tailor's Guild and build a new level of Tailor Mill or whatever it's called, they will remove a level from the Tailor's Guild as it is an upgrade. They will remove a level of Tailor Guild. It's an upgrade, it will not remove all levels at once, as that's kind of bad for the player. Okay, so when you have buildings that are a direct upgrade to something you have tiers of, it will take 1 level away from the thing you already have to upgrade it, instead of forcing you to upgrade them all at once, or instead of forcing you to build it from scratch. That's really good. I like that a lot. It only changes if the resource was a food resource, because cities can't produce food. But like, if a city is built on stone, it can change the stone to be, or it can't. It won't change the stone. It'll still be a city that produces stone, yeah. Or like gold, precious metals. Makes sense. Sounds like interesting. Something interesting to think about strategically. Miss something. Market protection, new mechanic. Market protection is part of the mechanic. Your location stay in your markets. Yeah, yeah. So if you're England, you got good market protection, then Calais should be in the London market, even if Antwerp is next door with a high market attraction. Ah, and you can see the upgrade in the wind. Okay, in the buildings menu. That makes sense. Yes, icons that show that something needs to be built coastal and needs to be built in a capital. I think they've shown that for capital buildings. Yeah, it doesn't sound like it would be that useful to make a city on stone, because I doubt that you desperately want to produce that much stone. It's probably something you want to keep in rural places. I imagine it's probably quite useful to build a city on a food place, because the food place is probably easy to attract people to begin with, and then once you make it into a city, it'll produce some sort of urban good, like dyes or paper, I guess. Food rundown. Haven't exactly gotten the trade tended. How do resources move between markets? Yeah. Resources only move between markets if there's no national stockpile at all, only market stockpile. Locations buy and sell their own market. Hmm. Florence. With them being admiring apart. If a Florence managed to have merchant capacity in a trade, if a Florence manages to have merchant capacity in a trade center close enough to trade with, let's say, Malacca, which is probably somewhere in India, or the Horn of Africa, then it's a few factors that make it unlikely to be bad for you. You'd have a higher merchant capacity. The goods they can get access to that you don't have or interest to export will get higher demand, driving prices up, making your locations richer, and you can earn more taxes. trade works a lot differently than I thought. So you get more taxes based on the value of the good in the location as well. Huh. So you are taxing trade like that. Interesting. But that should be everything. I do believe that rounds up our spree of trying to catch up on things.
We're caught, and we're definitely not going to fall behind again in the future, right?
We will never fall behind again, and I will never need to have someone make a comment on a stream saying, ha ha, next time we get another stream, the game will be announced. Lol. That will never happen again. Dude with American flag from Vic says representing Africa's geographic handicaps in game. I don't think that's going to be worth me reading. But anything else? North America into several Tinto maps. Why would you? What? What? Why would it be rushed? Why is this person being like, don't post it all at once? Why? If it's ready, what's wrong with them posting it? Areas in Europe might be too small. Administrative unit. The nation research is advanced. Oh, the areas, because like areas are that's how you integrate stuff. Yeah, you integrate stuff based on an area, and the locations in Europe are too small. They think. I don't think so. The areas are based on number of. I disagree with that claim because the areas are typically based on the number or provinces, I guess. Is it provinces? Yeah, because it's locations and provinces. They're always very easily you can see them. They lump together their colors. It's always like the same amount of areas or locations in an area. You don't see any places in Europe where it's like, oh, this is a province and this province has 2 locations. So I don't think that's a concern. But yeah. Anyway, nothing to see in North America anyway, especially in Alberta. Screw you. Screw you.
Yeah, there is nothing there.
With that, I do believe that we are done. This very long stream. Oh. So, I shall leave all of you folks here for now. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time when I continue to cope about the Blackfoot not being playable. Bye for now.